This is the real Impact Wrestling World Champion, Big Michael Elgin, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Nonstop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Nonstop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.
What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
This is the good stuff.
Welcome, everybody, to Total Nonstop Impact, Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the TNI Network. This is Tro. I'm my co-host, Jaybone, Kyle, and Alicia, and this is the Impact Wrestling Review for May 26th, 2020. Everybody, what's happening tonight? Alicia, ladies first. How's it going tonight?
Pretty good. Very much so enjoyed tonight's viewing.
Right. Yes, yeah, we got a lot to talk about on the show. Alicia and Kyle rocking some new merchandise. Logo by Havok. You guys are complete shills tonight.
Complete shills.
Yeah, J-Bone, we look like bums compared to these two. I got a Rosemary shirt on. That's the first one I can grab.
Trent, she's changing the game, all right? It's not your typical wrestling merchandise. This is
You guys should wait.
Designer clothing.
You guys should wait till she get on the show, though, right? We should have done that. When she got on, you should have done all that.
Oh, we had the brown nose to get her on the show, Trent.
Good point.
She's an agenda always.
Several $100s later, she's going to definitely come on and drop a note on the show. All right, cool. Guys, speaking of guests on the show, we got a little different intro to the show. We're going to review the May 26th episode of Impact Wrestling, which just aired half hour ago. Oh, yes. But before we get into that, Kyle's been working on something for weeks. This is very special. Kyle's been doing something. He's been hyping this up for weeks.
Long time. When we first got the show together, I said, Trent, one day we're going to bring on Uncle Sure Thing. You're going to meet this guy. He is your favorite uncle, and he's got stories. Now, let's keep in mind here, folks.
Yeah,
we're reviewing Impact Wrestling. He's coming on to do the review with us. His take is going to be a little different than ours. He's old school. He did everything in the wrestling business. He was a manager. He worked around booking. The guy's done it all, Trent. But it's like when you're watching wrestling in the basement and your dad comes downstairs. His wrestling might be a little different than your wrestling. You know, it's like rock and roll. You know, mom and dad's rock and roll might be a little different than your rock and roll, but
fair enough.
Professional, unique perspective with Uncle Sure Thing. And the guy is just, he's a hoot. I mean, quite frankly, you know what? I'm going to bring him on right now.
Just bring him on.
I'm going to bring him on right now. I'm not going to have him introduce himself because he needs no introduction. John, how are you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
What am I? What am I? Arthur Spooner in the basement? Is that how you describe me? I'm like Frank Costanza. I come up and yell about stuff and I leave. Is that how you describe me? From the crazy uncle, the old school guy? Oh my God!
That was kind of a weird intro, man. I expected a way better intro for the guy. You've been hyping him up, John. He hyped you up like to us, like Jesus is coming back and it's Christmas time. You know what I mean? And this is what he tells us. He's really the old grandpa.
I'm not good at doing introductions, Trent. That's well documented. So I always have a trick in my back pocket. If we're going to bring on the great Sure Thing John Shane here on the show, when you look up John Shane, there's one guy that's with him throughout it all the years, one person, and we know him very well. We're always talking about Russo's brand. I've talked about Piercy Horsemen plenty here on air.
Big time.
We've got a very special person to come on the show and do the introduction for Sure Thing John Shane because I'm a bum, Trent. Let's face it. So
you're a bum. You're
everyone, I'd like to bring here on the show right now the Greek God Papadon.
Papadon is in the house. What's happening, Papa?
What's up, everybody? Nice. How's everyone doing?
Very nice. How you doing, Papadon?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Good, man. We're big Russo's brand people here, subscribers, Conspiracy Horsemen. I'm all over it. So I'm not gonna. I can eat your ear about that, but we're not here for that. We're here to talk about John.
We don't want to get put on the Fed's watch list. We don't want to talk about too many conspiracy theories here on the show. But you know what,
right.
Papadon, we were bringing Sure Thing on the show, and we all said to each other, we got to get the Greek God Papadon here on the show to introduce the Sure Thing to our audience. So please, in your own words, Papadon, will you tell the people who the great Sure Thing John Shane is?
Oh, God.
I sure will. It is a distinct honor and pleasure to do this. This is the highlight of my wrestling career right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God. I'm just going to put my mic on mute. Here, let this happen. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely when I'm talking about you wrestling fans, you have the distinct pleasure and honor of having your earbuds graced with the sweet nectar,
come on,
the holy verbiage that's spewing out the orifice of none other of the greatest manager never to be on national TV, which is a sin within itself. My friend, he'd be your friend if you PayPal him enough. The Sure Thing,
I did.
John Shane, the manager of The Solution, the manager of Champions, and one of the greatest minds of professional wrestling that I have the pleasure of not only sharing the squared circle with, but having the honor of having him as one of my close friends.
Very nice.
Wow.
Beautiful.
How about that? Yeah.
I wish I had friends who thought that highly of me, guys.
Well, let me just tell you,
John, that check better clear.
Yeah. All right. You know, Papadon and I met at the Doghouse in about 97, 98. And the Doghouse, if you don't know it, it's a legendary wrestling gym.
99, John, 99.
99. All right. Well, I'm old, you know.
It's okay. But just do your looks.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. My quarantine beard. So basically, we had met at the Doghouse, which was in Brooklyn, New York, in one of the roughest neighborhoods across from the Franklin K. Lane High School. Homicide was there, Lathon, Low Life Louis Ramos. And we worked every week, every Saturday night we put on a show. And I tell you, we had some unbelievable nights down there. The place was freezing cold in the winter, boiling hot in the summer, but we all loved it. And it was a legendary place. It really was, man. It was something. And I got to manage Papadon and Havok as the Solution. And then, but what's amazing, and I think it's on YouTube if you want to see it. One of Papadon's early matches was with Homicide in the main event match and King of the Ladder matches, which was so much fun. Well, May 6th in 2000. In front
Would you
of
like to watch it, John? Would you like to do a little commentary?
It's a long ass match, but
hey, man, I'll skim through it, man. I'll skim through it. We can make it work.
But
no, you don't skim through greatness
right now. I got to take.
But I mean,
hold on, Johnny. Hold on, John. Not to cut you off, but we have to smarten up this Kyle guy over here. You don't skim through greatness. You don't press fast forward during a Papadon match. You don't push fast forward through a Solution match. You don't push fast forward through a John Shane promo. You sit back and you get smartened up.
I learned a lot.
And if you watch that
you
match,
got schooled, Kyle.
I needed that whipping. I needed that.
If you watch that match, it's tremendously hard hitting, and that's what the Doghouse is all about. It was snug and stiff, man. But you know what? If you survived it, we have brothers for life from that place, and because it was a few years that we ran every Saturday night without fail. And it was something.
All right. So we're really just going to shut up here and let the two legends do what they got to do. Can we get some just commentary, reflecting? Guys, I don't think this has ever been done before. Have you guys ever sat on a podcast and watched LIWF clips?
No. I can honestly say no, we have not.
And it's happening on an Impact Wrestling show. What are the odds? What are the odds?
How about that?
Oh, yeah. So there go our
We got Homicide in here, man. We got Homicide on the show, so it it works. It works. We got Homicide.
We got the tie-in, right? All right.
Oh, look how young he looks. Look at
put that sound on.
Proud. Yeah.
My hair. I work so hard on my hair.
He touches my hair.
No, this is 99. This is 99.
Yeah.
What is this? 99.
No, this was 2000. May of 2000. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the sound, Kyle? Make sure you got sound on here. Oh, look at this guy. Come on, Kyle. You're going to skip through? You got to have the sound on? Put the sound on.
Where'd you guys find this jabroni, huh?
Oh, yeah. This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what
Do the
happens.
share and hit the sound option.
What's that?
You got to hit the sound option. You're ruining all this right now.
We're live. We're live, pal. We're live, pal.
Well, cut it and put the sound on.
This is why Jaybone should be doing it. You got me running everything. I'm not a one man.
This was your night. This is your thing, right? You asked for this. You're doing. You get the sound now. Let's talk to these guys. All right. Are we watching all 40 minutes of that though? He just said not to skim through it.
No. Oh no, we're watching it. We're watching it, pal. Like it can't be. I don't think it's 40 minutes. Here we go. Now
it's a long match, dude. It's a long match.
It's a 40-minute match, Kyle.
It's a main event match.
You guys will call the shots. You guys will call the shots.
You know what? Basically, if you get down to that table spot towards the end, that's when things start hitting it.
Hey, here we go. Get over here now. If you're going to be doing interviews, you better do interviews with the guys who got something to say. This is the sure thing, John Shane, the #1 manager here in the LIWF. And I'm standing here with the soon-to-be all-borough titleist champion, going to take that belt from Homicide. He is also the king of the ladder matches, Papadon. You tell him, King. Tell him, king of the ladder matches. You tell him what's in store for Homicide.
Well, Homicide, what can I say about you? You're a wannabe thug, a wannabe crook. The biggest felony I said he had is what? Jumping a turnstile at Penn Station? You're a punk. You're a punk. The hit squads are a bunch of punks. Time after time when we get in the ring, I put you down, I laid you out, I had you down, but your boy Cash saved you. He's not ref in this match because there is no ref. That belt is going to be high above on this bad boy right here. I will climb it. I'll come and get the belt, and I will be the all-borough champion.
I just got one problem with this match. I got to tell you, Papadon, I got a big problem with this because they keep stacking it to get. They keep stacking. I can't even talk. They keep stacking the deck against the sure thing. I got to be handcuffed to that big 6'8" idiot slugger. Who the hell came up with that? I'm not handcuffed. Am I a criminal like the hit squad? Am I a guy that's going to be thrown in the drunk tank overnight? I'm not a criminal. I'm an upstanding citizen. I do not deserve to be handcuffed to no big 6'8" idiot named Slugger. That's not happening.
Don't worry about it.
Tonight.
Don't worry about it. Understand this. John Shane will not, I repeat, will not be handcuffed to no guy named Slugger, Sluger, whatever his damn name is. Maxi Priest and Shaba, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. It's me, Homicide, one-on-one, Clash of the Titans. I am taking the belt, and I'm going to beat your ass and make you my bitch. Yeah! Let's go.
Can I go now?
Get the hell
out of here, you punk. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
That was awesome.
That was tremendous, fellas. That was tremendous. Let's move along here.
That is classic.
All right, so we got a table spot you were going to show us there.
Yeah. Get to about 35
for a second. Back then, like cutting that promo, man. Give me the backstory on that. Memories, anything.
Well, let me tell you, we used to cut promos in the graveyard. We used to update the hotline at a payphone down the corner next to the bodega. I mean, everything was just done seat of our pants, you know. But that was so much fun because we had so much freedom. Bobby Lombardi was a promoter, let us pretty much do whatever we wanted. And
all right, now, yeah.
There we go. That's better. So yeah, you guys just do commentary.
All right. All right, but like I said, it was a very special place, and Bobby let us pretty much, and we ran every week, so we came up with hot angles and
they spelled my name wrong. It's one word, not two.
Yeah.
Be mad.
Watch Jimmy get on his little brother and rip up his little brother's sign. Yeah, this was great.
Hey,
That's
Kyle,
his brother Mario.
5-year-old Kyle in the audience on this one?
Yeah. Quite possibly. David Cohen, one of our listeners, he was at
the show? The Cohen's in the chat room. He was at the show, huh?
He was in the comments last week saying, "I know sure thing, John Shane. I used to go to those shows," and that blew my mind.
Yeah, like I said, this was a warehouse in Jamaica, Queens. And we used to get anywhere from 50 to like 300 people depending on the show night. But we ran every Saturday because Bobby pretty much he would use the show nights to keep the school going, and the students would pay their money during the week, and the veterans would come in and run the shows.
So who are some of the TNA Impact guys that went through LIWF?
Homicide, of course. Low Key. I don't know if he was TNA, but
definitely he was big time Impact guy.
Yeah.
Early days, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this was a great place, and it was a hell of a time to be around there, and we had so many great matches, so many great nights.
The early 2000s indies were a different world than they are now, man.
You ain't kidding.
I was going to all of them. Hey, Papadon, do you ever work with Danny Daniels at all? What was AEW now?
The name sounds familiar.
He's a fellow Greek man himself. He's one of my best
really?
friends. Yes, he is.
Oh yeah. What does he run now?
He runs AAW in Chicago.
Good, get me booked.
Yeah, you got it.
Trent's a producer there. Trent's a producer there.
I'm a producer there. But anyway, he was the heel ref in ECW for the last year that was there.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who screwed Jerry and all that stuff. Anyway, I always talk to him. He started in '97, and we always talk about the early 2000s. Indies were just a different. I mean, what there are today, this is a whole different world. People can't understand what it was like back then. Like the characters you saw back then, it's nothing like what you see now.
Not only that, just the world itself was a totally different existence, if you will.
You can get away with so much more back then.
There are so many stories that John has told me on the phone. And like, I'm kind of afraid for him to tell them on air because 2020, people are different nowadays. Wrestling first, you get.
Oh, that's the guy you had to get handcuffed to?
Yeah, we actually use real handcuffs because, like, I remember using gimmick handcuffs. They kept breaking when you used the play ones. So these are actual real handcuffs here.
I like that jacket, John.
Oh, yeah.
You still got that jacket?
Oh yeah.
Classic here.
Hey, Kyle, if you behave well enough, maybe you might end up with that thing one of these days.
Hey,
The air brushing from the flea market. Yeah, you know.
Classic.
Yeah. You know what? Dave Power, the Power Twins, gave me the name, the short thing. It was either that or Craps Callahan. I'm glad we kind of went with the short thing. Yeah, what you want to get to like 35 minutes in, you want to see an unbelievable table spot.
There you go.
Now look at the shots he's taking here. I mean, these guys are not.
Nah, not pulling anything, man.
Oh.
Yeah, sort of like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, jump over to that spot. He's at 35 minutes. Hop to that.
What do you guys say?
That's what he wants. Put what the man wants on there.
You tell me what.
His memory's better than mine because I don't remember any of this match.
Yeah, so
you kind of got knocked around a little bit.
No, it's not even that, dude. It's like, for me, wrestling is like changing socks. This is 20 years ago, you know? And to be fair, all I remember from this match, besides Homicide and myself kicking the crap out of each other, is that we broke the ladder. And in order for us to get the actual belt or the championship, we had to use another different ladder, one of those not the ones that open up, but one of those ladders that lean on the house and goes straight up.
Yeah.
And luckily we had one in the back, otherwise we would have been screwed.
That belt wasn't going anywhere.
I lied.
You got to be careful nowadays. Ladders, chairs, those are hot commodities, man. Promoters will go back out and see if they can bend them back into place and use them for another show.
I believe it. Yeah.
So, Papa, how many years in are you at this point?
6 months, I think, right?
Oh, in this 6 months, yeah.
6 months?
Oh, yeah, I started July 17, 1999 was my first match. And this was when?
May of 2000, yeah.
So, no, you sure it wasn't? Oh, yeah, okay. So, whatever the time is, I started in July. I started training in June. My first match was in July, so a month after I started training.
And that's Bobby Lombardi to the left there in the black sweatshirt. I was the promoter, Bobby. Rest in peace, Bobby. He was a great guy.
Yeah, one of the guys in the chat. One of the guys in the chat was saying, "Yeah, rest in peace."
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
But now, let's see, 99 till now. It's this July coming up. It'll be 21 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless. And you're still working, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Great, man.
Current champion in 3 promotions.
Look at this guy, still going.
Dude, I haven't peaked yet.
Trent, I name drop the NYWC once on every broadcast,
every show,
and this is the guy. This is one of the guys I'm always talking about.
I saw Papa. You never came to Chicago, right? I saw you once in California. That's about it. One time for that Wrestling Cares thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I saw you there. First time I ever saw you perform, but I don't think I ever saw you in Chicago in the early days. No.
Oh, not yet. You talk to your boy. I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll see what's up, man. Hey, listen.
It can happen, Trent.
Hey, I can talk to him. Hey, but when we gotta get shows going again first.
Well, of course. Of course.
That ladder looks as bent as Hooper's shark cage in Jaws.
Have either of you guys kept a good relationship with Homicide throughout the years? Since
him and I, we're boys, man. I talk to him all the time.
I went to his 25th anniversary over in Brooklyn last summer.
Yeah, I was on the show. That's right.
Oh,
so Don, you came in late after you did the.
I flew in from the Skinner show up in Rochester.
That's right. I remember.
Nice.
We did talk to him about coming on, so I don't know if he was going to make it or what. Former X Division champion, tag team champion, Impact Wrestling.
He might crash the show.
He might crash the show, guys. He might crash the show. We'll see. We'll see. Hop over to that timestamp that John was saying, Kyle. 35 minutes.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get to that table spot when that table gets moved, because it's a tremendous bump.
What's a bump? I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a holy shit moment.
There you go. That's what it is.
Like a Herb Abrams bump.
Nice.
A different kind of bump.
Oh. I don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, William Gardner was there. Nice.
Bill was at the show?
No way. He's lying.
He's at every show.
He's lying.
Guys, we got a listener and one of our good buddies. There we go.
The spot.
We can't believe Bill was at the show. This is fantastic. He's at every show on the East Coast.
I'm not surprised.
John, was this the match where I kicked out of the cop killer?
No, you were passed out at that for the cop killer. You could not get up after that.
No, I remember D told me to kick out of a cop killer once, and he told me I was the first guy he let ever kick out of his finisher, and I was honored by it.
I thought he hit you with it, and then he climbed up the ladder. I thought.
Oh, I don't remember. That could have been it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no pins in this match. You're right. So it must be another match.
Yeah.
You know, I have another one here. It's the Sherm Thing versus Homicide in a hardcore match.
Oh, Jesus.
Some clips up of that later.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
Before we end the show, we'll show that one.
Yeah,
we'll leave everybody on the high with that one.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
No, Greek God, but it happens. Thank you.
Jeez. You still chewing after that?
I guess Homicide has always been Homicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, legitimately the toughest guy I've ever been in a ring with, without a doubt. And the one guy who everybody respects, really. I mean,
man. And this is the other ladder now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're at the other ladder.
Oh,
we got the alternate ladder now.
The Diener's ladder.
Yeah, the Diener's ladder.
Now that's J-Train and Havok, Jimmy's Papadon's tag. Here's the cop killer right there.
Oh shit! It's still to this day, man. Oh my god.
Woo. Now you gotta kind of want to watch it to the end, because then we all get choke slammed and the hit squad all comes out and celebrates. It's pretty cool. Well, I didn't want him to turn it off early.
Oh no.
Well, we got a bunch of Impact listeners in here who, they know Homicide from the TNA days. They probably never saw this match, Hey, they're probably shocked to see him like this.
The Doghouse takeover. Here we go. Homicide.
Listen, some of the greatest talents came from the Doghouse, and I'm not just saying that because I came from there, but
That's,
go ahead, John.
That's J-Train, who's known Julius Smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Julius Smokes right there. How about that?
Yeah. And that's Havok, our tag team partner.
Nice.
Yes, look at this.
That's a big boy.
That's a big guy.
I'm sold on Slugger, man.
What happened to him? Where's he at now?
To me, based off this alone.
He ran a wrestling gym for a short time, but I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking here, but I remember when he picked me up, I said, I forgot my elbow pads. I'm screwed.
Where are they now? The LIWF.
The LIWF is retired. Bobby Lombardi unfortunately passed away. And they haven't ran shows 20 years, 18 years now, something like that.
Oh, wow. Classic time, man. Good thing we got video.
Yeah. There he is. The sure thing got his.
Now you're going to see the hit squad come out. They get Low Key, Monster Mac, and...
Oh, we're going to see a young Low Key? I've never seen Low Key in 2000.
First year?
It's early. Wow.
I think he started at the JYD Memorial Show in '98.
There's P right there. There's P. There's Mac.
Is that Grim Reaper right there with
That's
the black
Reefer,
hat on?
Terra X.
I have a tremendous Grim Reaper story, but I can't tell you it on the air. I'll tell you another time. I'm not kidding. It's tremendous. Guy is awesome.
You got tease the listeners like that, Kyle?
No, the guy was awesome. I had a good time with him. Great dude.
You see, Jimmy, you're getting carried out here after that cop killer. I didn't kick out.
No, that was another match. Collectively, J-Train, a.k.a. Julius Smokes, Havok, and myself at the time were known as Shane's Gang.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And then I turned on J-Train and almost started a riot at the Doghouse.
It's so crazy.
Lathon's the other big guy right next to Monster.
No, it's Moff right there, dude.
Oh, wow.
Is that Moff?
Yeah, that's Moff, and there's Mac. And there's Key.
Low Life Louis Ramos.
This is all before Ring of Honor, before TNA. It's all so early for these guys, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool. Very cool. Very nice, guys. Glad to relive that.
Classic.
Very cool. That's nice, man. No, listen, it's new for me. I saw Low. The first time I ever saw Low Key side was probably 2002. So that's the earliest I seen him, or 01 Indies here in Chicago. But that cool to see early days like that, man.
Very really serious guy. I mean, serious guy when it comes to wrestling. He does not take any BS. You know, when you're backstage, if you're fooling around, when you should be watching a match, he'll be the first one to tell you. A very serious guy when it comes to it.
We've had him over here.
It's refreshing to see a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, he's extremely in the zone at all times. He's worked for us here at AEW, and he's always in the zone. You can't really before the show, you can't really talk to him about anything but the show. I've noticed. So,
but before we let Papadon out of here, Papadon, I want to ask you two questions before we get out of your way.
Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Two things. I know we spoke before, and I said I had to go do my other podcast. That got delayed, so I can stay as long as you guys let me stay on. So that's no problem.
Hey, I mean, most of us here, we know the show. We talk about Russo's brand. We talk about your work here on the show. But would you like to plug it just for anybody in case?
Sure.
Familiar?
Well, I do two podcasts. The one that we're doing that was supposed to be done tonight, got postponed to later tomorrow night, is the New Force Order podcast, which is a Star Wars podcast. Me being a big Star Wars mark. Nice. It's myself, Alex Arroyo, a.k.a. Dr. Destroyo. He's usually the medical doctors at the wrestling shows here in New York. And a buddy of mine named Spiro. He's a photographer and movie director, independent movie director. So you have a doctor, a movie director, and a pro wrestler talking everything about Star Wars. It's called New Force Order. You can catch us on YouTube, New Force Order. And the website's newforceorder.com. And if you guys want to send us emails, we do segments Who's More Over, where we compare two people or two aspects of Star Wars lore, and we see who's more over. And we incorporate a lot of wrestling lingo into the show, as you can tell, as I just stated. And the email address is newforceorder@yahoo.com. Now, the other podcast...
You have not lived until you hear Crowbar and Papadon talk Star Wars in a locker room. It's like two geeks run wild. I'm sitting there going, I'm out of this. I mean, Crowbar actually has an Imperial soldier in his house, right? I mean, like he's got.
They're called stormtroopers, John. Thank you.
Come on. I'm a Star Trek guy, man. Come on.
Papadon, are you good with the new Star Wars, or are you guys strictly old school fans? I know that's a big...
dude. To me, that we have two sayings on the New Force Order. The first saying is, "There's only one thing better than Star Wars, and that's more effing Star Wars." Right. And the second saying that we have on our show, is because there's a lot of haters out there, and they do it just for the sake of hating, is that the New Force Order will never get over on Star Wars. We'll get Star Wars more over with you. You know what I'm saying? So we're not trying to put ourselves over and get the rub off of Star Wars. Look, man, at the end of the day, people who grew up in the 70s and 80s are going to like the original trilogy because, let's face it, it was the original trilogy, right? That's our childhood. Yeah, kids who grew up with the prequels are going to like the prequels more because that's their childhood, right? And whoever grew up now with the sequel trilogy, he's going to like that even better because it's their childhood. Me personally, I love all the movies. Could Could certain things have been better? Absolutely. But they also could have been worse. So
yeah, you could have more Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, you're right. You're right about that. I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, you're never going to get a perfect movie, just like you're never going to get a perfect wrestling match. You're never going to get a perfect wrestling promo. Nothing is perfect. Enjoy it for what it is. It's meant. Number one, Star Wars is for children, and number two, it's meant for you to enjoy it and escape reality and just have a good time and enjoy yourself in a galaxy far, far away. Now, the second podcast, as you guys mentioned, is the Conspiracy Horsemen, which is myself, Big Sal Graziano from the FBI, Stevie Richards from BWO, and Bin Hamin, the 4 pro wrestlers who talk shop about conspiracy theories, quote unquote. It's more of a free thought podcast where we question the narrative on everything. We don't tell you what's right or what's wrong. We look at everything from all different angles, and we let our listeners make up their own minds regarding the subject. We just present whatever we find, and we present the quote unquote facts that we've researched and we've vetted and make sure that it's true. And then what we do is we give our analysis. You don't have to agree with it, but at the same time, if you try to come down on us, you're gonna get verbally raped. So it's like four guys in the locker room just talking shop about a subject, and the subject happens to be conspiracies, free thinking, enlightenment, and questioning the narrative. You could find us live on Twitch every Wednesday, 7:15. It's twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen.
It's definitely. I gotta say, I listen. I'm a Russo brand subscriber, so I get it in my feed. That show's made me think about shit that I never thought I'd think about in my entire life. I've opened, especially during now. You guys are about this pandemic and shit going on. This will blow your fucking mind about the stuff they talk about. No, guys, you guys have blown my mind. Bin Hamin is off the chain, especially on the other show he does with Stevie on the brand. The things he comes up with, man, and you guys discuss, it's unbelievable. I highly recommend you guys check that show out. That is definitely.
Listen, I appreciate the kind words, but what we try to do is we try to show people that, listen, asking questions isn't a bad thing. Being a person who's always going to question what they hear and what they see is not a bad thing. Don't be one of these people, quote unquote, sheep that like being told what to do and don't want to think for yourself. Go out there. If someone says, hey, AB3, question why AB3. If someone tells you XYZ, question why XYZ. This way, when you question it, you actually get entailed in the situation, in the scenario, if you will, and through your experience, your eyes will open up and you will know what's really going on, because experience is the number one teacher in life, no matter what aspect you're looking at, whether it's conspiracy theories, real life, occupation, sports, professional wrestling. And that's another thing. You got 4 wrestlers who've been in the business, numerous amount of years. And to us, calling out bullshit has become like a sixth sense. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to deal with these shady promoters, and we got to deal with some of these quote unquote boys who think they're men and they try to get over on you. No one's over. If we were all over, guess what? We'd be swimming in our pool like Scrooge McDuck, but we're not over.
I gotta give you a quick Papadon story. I got a million of them, but we were working
your best one.
We were working AAA in Jamaica, Queens, and the show went late. It was a Friday night, and we had a quick turnaround. We had to be in Jersey the next afternoon. So,
oh, you mean LXW? No, it was LXW, dude.
LXW. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what happened was, so they tell us, they go, okay, guys, you go upstairs. We got a party room. There'll be hot dogs and food, and we'll come up in a little while. Promoters ditched out the back door. So they come up, they left. They're not going to pay you guys. Jimmy goes, I know where he lives. We drove to the guy's house at 4 a.m. Jimmy's pounding on the door. You're going to pay us, right? Waking up the whole neighborhood. So the next day we're driving to Jersey. We're all punchy. We only had like 2 hours of sleep. So I usually drove. So I'm driving and I'm playing the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in the back, right? Now, the song that comes on when Ving Rhames is getting raped, right? That comes on. That comes on the speaker, right? So Papadon goes, hey, Ed, Ed Havok, we were thinking of, coming out to a new entrance song. Maybe we'd come out to this, because he had never seen the movie. And Havok goes, "Are you out of your mind? You know what people think of when they hear this song? Men having sex. I'm not coming out to this, right?" I start laughing. I'm cracking up. I'm dying, right? So I keep playing the song because I'm being a dick, you know. We keep playing the song. So we get to the arena in Paramus, and we used to eat at a place called Nino's, and I had to go in because I was booking, and I had an interview right away and everything. So I went in. They took my car, and now I wasn't coming out with them at this time. I had turned on them, and I was with the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. So I had a promo to open the show with the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Now I come out to the Allman Brothers. I always do. So they go to Nino's. We're getting ready to start the show. So I'm getting ready to come out of the curtain. They're getting ready to introduce me. And I look up, and they're on the balcony, and nobody in the crowd can see them, but I can see them, and they're smiling down at me, and I kind of wonder. So the ring announcer goes, "Let's bring him on, the manager, John the Sure Thing Shane." So what starts playing? That song comes on, right? I come out of the back, right? They're laughing their asses off. The Scoundrels are in the ring cracking up. They're in on it, right? And I just make a beeline to the sound guy. I go, "Who the hell told you to put this song on? You know what people think about when they hear this? Men having sex," right? Everybody was cracking up, but it was one of the best ribs that they ever played on me. And the key to wrestling ribs, if anybody's out there, if you get ribbed, you got to take it, and you can't let it get to you, because then they'll just keep doing it. And that was one of the best ribs played on me. We laughed about that one for quite a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool.
And whenever I hear that song, I always think of
Getting anything but men having sex. Well, it's great.
Sex, yeah.
Hey, Papadon, you want to plug any social media or anything before we're going to start the Impact Wrestling review in just a few, but we want to get your plugs in. Anything else you want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me at Greek God Papadon on Twitter, Greek God Papadon on Instagram, Demetrius Papadon on Facebook. Greek God Papadon is the YouTube channel where I have promos and matches. I've done Wrestled Everybody, which is the funny part. The Pro Wrestling Tee Store, Pro Wrestling Tees / Greek God Papadon. NFO is at NFO_podcast on Twitter. New Force Order, Instagram, official New Force Order on Facebook. Conspiracy Horsemen, it's at BWO Stevie Richards, at Bin Hamin. Big Sal jumped off of Twitter. He don't like Twitter no more. And I mentioned mine already. And just catch us live on Twitch, man.
Very cool. We'll get all the plugs in the description, guys. We'll get all the links down there. So definitely make sure to follow Greek God Papadon, the Conspiracy Horsemen, all the stuff. New Force Order. He's into a lot of shit, guys. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Wait, hold on a second. Before we let Greek God Papadon out, we got the platform here, Trent. We're having Impact stars here on the show. People that work at Impact are watching our show. So if the eyes are on us right now, Papadon is one of the greatest wrestlers, in my opinion. I talk about the NYW all the time, Trent. And
he does
if
talk
Impact
about it.
Wrestling is watching, why should they sign Papadon tomorrow? Why should Papadon be a part of Impact Wrestling on Access TV? In your own words, Papadon.
Oh, you're asking me.
I know why, but I want to hear from your words.
How long is this show?
All
night with you two on.
Okay, it's real simple, very simple. Okay, you want something different, you want something fresh on TV. You don't want typical characters that's the same as somebody else. Well, let's face it. One thing I offer is realism to my work. When you watch me wrestle, it's realistic. You'll see me tell a story. You'll see me sell because the money's in the sell. You'll see me get heat like nobody else because the money's in the heat. But here's the key, okay? I make that emotional connection with people. Granted, if I'm having a 6-minute match or a 30-minute match, people leave the show, and one of the things they're talking about is Greek God Papadon, because I have them eating out of the palm of my hands each and every time. Now, I'm not going to toot my own horn, toot, like Arn Anderson says, but I'm one of the greatest heels on the planet today. I can do babyface. I've worked face plenty of times. But here's the kicker. This is how I'm different. I speak Greek fluently. I read it. I write it. I'm Greek 100%. It's not a gimmick. There's no Greek wrestlers on TV. There's no Greek wrestlers on any national platform. But here's the kicker. Greeks invented professional wrestling. We're the forefathers of sports entertainment. Really? So I come out in the Impact Zone and I tell everybody to get on their knees and bow before the Greek God of pro wrestling because it's embedded in my DNA. And because of that fact, I'm better than each and every one of you guys here. Guess what? It's TV that writes itself. And I can do it in English and I can do it in Greek. I can wrestle any style. I wrestle lucha libre. I wrestle the strong style, Japanese style, traditional American style, the European scientific world of sports style. You name it. You put me in the ring with a broom, I'll make the broom look well. That's the bottom line. I walk the walk. I talk the talk in 2 languages. So that's that. I mean, at the end of the day, all I need is the opportunity. If the opportunity presents itself and it's given to me, I'll take that one chance, that 1% of opportunity, and I will earn the other 99% through my actions and through my words, because that's what I've been doing for 20 years, wrestling all over this world as a journeyman, an independent contractor. For some rhyme or reason, I've been under the radar, and I've been everywhere.
He's wrestled
and wrestled all over the place. Wrestled everybody, but never broke that glass ceiling to where I can make it on a national level. So here, someone gives me the ball, I'll run with it, and I score with it, guaranteed. So that's why.
Tremendous.
Greek God Papadon. Thank you for being on, Papadon.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You got it. We appreciate it.
John, I love you, man.
I love you too, my brother. Man. Listen, hit me up this week. We'll talk. And John, do me a favor. Go get your fucking shine box.
Well, I will say this. I got one question for you, though. Why is every Greek diner got a picture of Telly Savalas on the wall? Can you tell me?
Who loves you, baby? Who loves you, baby?
It's either that or Ernie and Nassus. Either that or Ernie and Nassus. They don't 2 Greeks in the world. Jesus. There should be pictures of you in the diners now.
Well, if I get signed to Impact, they will be on the diners. Because everyone watches Impact.
They're listening.
Right?
They're listening to the show. So hey, you just cut the promo. You just got a hell of a promo. Let's see who hears it, right?
Pat's going crazy.
Very nice. Let me. We miss our buddy Havok, who we traveled the road with. These 2 guys are the closest guys in the business with me, and we're still really good friends. We came from the Doghouse, and we spent so many times, and those car trips were legendary. And it's. When I think of my best times of wrestling, it's usually with those 2 guys, So we had a hell of a time, man, and we really did. And they played off each other really well. And there's a lot of stories with that too, but I can't get into them now.
Listen, man, not to incriminate anyone here, but at the end of the day, they always say in this business, you don't make a lot of close friends. Okay, a lot of people from the Doghouse, even though we don't talk every day with each other, we're all brothers, and that's one thing for sure. We go to war with each other. We leave. We shake hands. We grab a beer. Some may do a little smizzle, whatever your preference is. But at the end of the day, we're all tight now and forever. But the one thing I can say about John Shane and Havok, they're my brothers till I'm 6 feet under, man. I love those guys.
But you know what's funny? I mean, just one more Doghouse comment. How many guys you run into said, "Yeah, I was at the Doghouse"? I'm like, I don't remember seeing you there. Oh. There's so many guys who are not original Doghouse that say they are, and I'm like, I just don't remember seeing you there, man. Just don't, So, boy, you're getting a lot of love here, there, Papa.
A lot of love, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Each and every one of you guys out there. Listen, everyone, be safe.
Absolutely, all right. You too, man. Best to all the conspiracy horsemen, all your boys.
I got to throw in one more inside joke. I'll get my shine box if you just make sure you finish what you started, my friend.
I always do, brother. I
know. All right, take care. Take care, Papa.
Greek God Papadon, everybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right, man. John, that was awesome. My little trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Like I
cool.
said, he's one of the few people I'm still, because I was just telling Kyle, I kind of walked away from the business in like 2006, 2007, got into comedy, started doing some other things. And, I'm still close with him. I'm still close with Havok and a few of the other guys in the business, Rocky Shore and other guys I worked with. And, and Kyle brought it all back. A few years ago, I've been out of the business. He hits me up out of the blue.
I took the tarp off of him. I took the tarp off of him.
Yeah,
I went up in the attic and I took the dust off the shirt thing.
Yeah. So, but it's been fun reminiscing about all this stuff, and it's always good,
And that's the thing, we run the Impact Wrestling review show here, and I was like, I got to take it upon myself, Trent. I have this platform. The Shirt Thing is my guy. I call him Uncle Shirt Thing. This is my guy right here. Yeah. He has all these stories, and he sure as hell ties a lot of them back to the Impact Wrestling stars at the genesis of their careers. In fact, I think there are a lot of guys that went through the Doghouse that John just doesn't remember, It's just that there's been that many. Because, you can't talk about East Coast independent wrestling without the LIWF and everything else you did, NWA Cyberspace.
Well, yeah.
And everything in between.
Like we were talking about earlier, you know, I was there at the beginning of Jay Lethal's career when he was just starting out. He was an 18-year-old kid at JCW and really did not have, you know, he could wrestle. He could wrestle his head off, but didn't really have, it's amazing to think, but he really didn't have the promo skills and everything. And we came up with an angle where we used his mother. We basically took the Rick Rude, Jake the Snake angle with Jake's wife, and we just used Jay's mother, and it lit like fire. And he came out, and Jay kicked all our asses. And I was working with Livewire, who went out to become Mike Mondo at the time, and those two guys were just starting out in the business, and it was just fun to watch them develop over the years. Because Mike Mondo, if you look at some of those matches he had with Jay Lethal and JCW, he was a power guy, and when he went to the WWE, you know, they slimmed him down, and all of a sudden he was flying around. You know, so you know, it's really cool for me to be able to look back and see, you know, actually have a small part of their careers. You know, that means something to me.
Now, when you look back though, John, and you know, I know you. I know you're a good guy. You're just happy and proud of everything that you've done. But do you ever have a moment where, let's say, you see somebody go off and they went and had a big career on TV? Does it ever bother you where it's like, man, I was there from day one. I remember when he wasn't shit. You know, do you ever get bothered, or are you happy for other people's success?
No, I'm happy for that, man. You can't live like that. You really can't. I mean, wrestling's a type of business. I mean, you could be the most talented guy in the world, but if they don't like you for some reason, it doesn't matter. It's not like another sport where, you know, the cream rises to the top. But, you know, in wrestling, you got it. It's right place, right time. It's, you know, it's, you know, I think we were talking about Mick Foley before. Mick and I met in college, and
we have footage of that. You know, John, let me cut you off here. Before we get into the review, let's drop some earth-shattering footage. Yeah, John, you tell us about your relationship with Mick Foley before we play the footage. Explain what the footage is, and just run us down memory lane. John Shane and Mick Foley.
Well, Mick and I met in college, Cortland College, SUNY Cortland, in 84, 85, and we both did college radio. This shows you two losers. Saturday night, Mick went 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. I went 11 to 3. And that's how we got, because we did shifts back to back. So, of course, back in those days, it was like just before WrestleMania 1. So if you ran into somebody who was into wrestling, it was like finding a kindred soul, and you talk to them, and because back then,
even now,
that's what it's like now. The Attitude Era is over. That's how we all met here on the show.
And
wrestling.
So you know. Oh, I saw the Georgia Chad, the 4 flat tires with the Freebirds. You know, we talked about all this stuff. So Mick and I, you know, got to become friends through that. Plus, we had a few classes in radio, television production. But I had no idea that he was training to be a wrestler. No idea at all. And then he was doing those weekend trips to Pittsburgh. And then I graduated May of '86. And then that summer, I turned on the TV and I saw him doing job matches with the E. And that fall, because I was visiting my girlfriend who was still going to school at the time, and I stumbled upon the radio station, and one of the guys said, "Hey, take over the shift." So I kind of had an alumni show, and Mick came up, and I asked him about it. And he goes, "Yeah, you know, I've been working and all this." And he never told me. He never told anybody. But I will say this about Mick. He's basically the same guy he was in college. He show up to class in a pajama top and disheveled and everything. But really a nice, down-to-earth. He's the same guy. He really hasn't changed at all, other than limping and being a little hurt. He's pretty much the same guy, and that's kind of cool to see. And, you know, we went to school. We were up there when Kevin James was up there, and you know, Cortland was a fun place to go to school. It was a fun place to be, and you know, and every time I see Mick, he's about, you know, Mick and about 2 other guys, about the only guys I really hang out with from college. But I don't hang out with Mick, but when I see him, it's always good times.
That's great, man.
So tell us what we're about to watch, though, here, John. Give us the backdrop of this footage.
All right. Actually, there's something you don't have footage of. We actually did a college soap opera where Mick was a college professor I was blackmailing, but I got to find that one of these days. Somebody's got a tape of this. But what we're doing here is it's called Sports Journal, and we did a thing on WrestleMania 2. Wow. And then I asked Mick's opinion of the Mr. T Roddy Piper match, and then you see me with my Huey Lewis haircut back then, and.
It's,
you know,
this is rare footage now. This is rare, right?
Stuff.
Right,
this is
rare.
probably going to go viral. So smile for the camera, everybody. Wave, say hello.
It's on YouTube. It's been on YouTube for a long time.
It is, but it hasn't broke. I got the YouTube footage. There aren't that many views. People just don't know it's buried there. So hey, we'll put it.
We'll break it now.
I've never seen Mick repost it. I've never seen Mick. WWE's never picked this footage up for any Mick Foley documentaries. I mean, it's Mick talking about WrestleMania too. You think that?
I'm shocked they didn't pick it up. I'm shocked they showed it.
And I want them to, because I want Sure Thing plastered all over the WWE documentaries. Man, come on, guy's an upstanding citizen.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
Well,
check out this footage right here.
Okay, he's waiting for the Giants to get in the ring against the wrestlers. We might see that in WrestleMania 3. As part of the WrestleMania 2 extravaganza, a boxing match between Mr. T and Roddy Piper. I asked one Mick Foley what he thought of the outcome.
Well, John, there's going to be a lot of good matches going down on April 7th, but I really don't include the boxing match as one of them. I just don't think it's an evenly fought match because all Mr. T has going for him is a psychological edge. I mean, like Jesse the Body said, it looked like Roots 2 going down a couple months ago. But in some point there's experience on Rocky 3, but we're not talking about some punches thrown on celluloid. This is real life, and I just think Roddy Piper has too much going for him. The training under the guidance of Lou Duva, I saw him training on the television. He looks just a little bit too big, too strong for Mr. T.
Mick, I have to agree with you. Mr. T is being trained by Joe Frazier, but the only other person smoking Joe trained was his son Marvitz, and he got knocked out in the first round by Larry Holmes. I mean, that's not much of a track record.
I think Roddy called the shot the best when he called him old canvasback Frazier. So I'm looking for an early round knockout. I don't know what the referees can do to help out Mr. T, but it's not going to be enough.
Okay, you heard it from Mick Foley. Mr. T is going down, and Roddy will be victorious on WrestleMania 2. It has been rumored that some of the most diehard wrestlers...
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
That was cool.
How old are you guys there, John? About 20 or 22?
Yeah, 20, 21, yeah, something like that, yeah.
So Jaybone was about 40 when you guys filmed that. That's what that meant.
Yeah. You weren't, well, Kyle, you weren't even a twinkle in the old man's eye, right?
No. I don't even think the old man had hit puberty yet. I wasn't even thought of. Wasn't even an idea. But that
that was a lot of fun, and like I said, we had done the soap opera too, and we had free reign of the cameras and all of that type of stuff, so we could do a lot of fun with that, So I think the whole thing's on there. I interview one of the funniest parts that there was like a stuck-up librarian, and just out of the blue, I said, Hogan or Bundy? He goes, I like Bundy, and it was just kind of just like this nerdy librarian. We did like 20 minutes on WrestleMania 2. It was kind of crazy. That was
awesome,
fun.
Man.
So I've just felt like all these stories. This is just like a little chunk, man. This guy could sit here all day, Trent. That's why we got to keep bringing John on once in a while, because I got so much footage. We could sit here forever, so we got to pepper it out. Let's get on with our review.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah. Let's do that. But I feel like we have properly introduced you, John. I think we've done a good job.
I think they know who you are now, John.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. They're like, look at this old guy. 100 years ago, he was sort of almost never was.
No. Hey, listen, we like to celebrate that. We have to celebrate the past. The guys who made it what it is today. You were there for a lot of stuff.
Street cred here on this podcast, man.
Absolutely,
you've got street cred, John. You do.
Okay, all right.
You don't need TV to say you made it, John. Put it that way.
You're an upstanding citizen.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
No. But the whole thing is, I'll give you one more story with that. I'd kind of really started getting some momentum. There's another clip when I did an interview with Ricky Steamboat on JCW, and we had a lot of fun with it. And Steamboat told me to contact the E, and and Mick gave his blessing that I could drop his name too. And I'll never forget it. I came home and I hit the answer machine after I sent my tape, and they, this is so and so from the WWE. I don't want to give his name. Wow. And I said, and I was shaking. I'm like, this is it. This is my big shot. I call up, but he goes, John, we liked what we saw, and then you're just waiting for the butt, and the butt was, but you're like a Model T, they were great in its day, but we don't drive them anymore. We don't use managers anymore. And it's true. Managers are coming back, but it seems to be only managers that used to be wrestlers, because you got to be able to take bumps. And I could take bumps and everything. but it wasn't what they were looking for at the time. And we're talking like early 2000s where managers are pretty much on the outs. But you see, back in the day, why managers were important, and you took a guy who an ex-football player, whatever, and you just, he could wrestle, but he couldn't get over, so you put him with a manager. You come out with Fred Blassie, you're going to have instant heat. You come out with Albano, you get instant heat. And that's why, and the wrestling schools kind of took all of that away because they taught him how to do promos, they taught him how to get over, and they taught him the business. And the managers were important to kind of learn them along the way. And it's really not. You see, I'm reading comments. It's screwing me up here. I'm reading comments. But yeah, it's a lost art because it's definitely a philosophy and it's definitely a way to do it and the right way to do it. Because if you watch a guy, when I used to train managers at the Doghouse, I would say, do anything you want before the bell rings, but then you just stand there, during the match because you don't want to ever steal heat until you learn what to do and when to do certain things. And that's why it worked out well with the Solution because we worked so much together. I knew when to throw the scarf in. I knew when to do the interferences and all of that type of stuff. And it's something you learn. And you see some managers just running around, screaming around like an idiot, and they don't want to get touched. I'll give you one more story, all right? I got a lot of them, but I'll give you one.
John, I just want to cut you off, though. I know that you're new to Impact now. I basically forced you to watch this week and last week just to get your fresh take, just to bring you on. And if you missed him, maybe he wasn't well represented in the past 2 episodes. You got to see this guy, Johnny Bravo.
I saw a little bit of him. Yeah, I saw that.
Tremendous. He is the old school manager that I'm telling you this generation needs.
He came on here, John. He roasted us like a bunch of marshmallows. He didn't take any mercy on Alicia here. We bring a pretty girl on the show. We think he's going to take it easy on us, but no, he went in just as hard on her as he did on us. It was terrible.
He took his liberties on all of us, John. He did.
Except for me, it was good.
But I think I learned the most from a match I did with George Steele and Johnny Valiant, where I went from 7th grade to graduating high school in about 10 minutes because they didn't want to do anything and they wanted me to take all, George Steele threw me around like a rag doll and I didn't know it was coming, but I rolled with the punches. And then I learned that I paid the dues for every manager that said, don't touch me, don't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you live and learn and you learn to work with the old guys. But once I worked with Steele and Valiant, I never had another problem with a veteran again, Snooker, Bundy, whatever. The word went out. So, that was, but managing is a lost art, and there's very few people that are doing it right, But let's talk about Impact. I'm sorry, it's not all going to.
John, this is your first episode here on the show. We got to introduce you properly, so then next time you come on, they already know you. It's all ready to go.
Very cool. All right, guys, we open up the May 26, 2020 episode of Impact Wrestling. The tournament finals or the semifinals were tonight, so we kicked it off, guys. Ace Austin taking on none other than Hernandez. So, former partner of your beloved Homicide there, John Hernandez from the LAX.
Yeah.
He's back now.
You have any run-ins with Hernandez throughout the years, John?
I never were. I remember going where he was backstage one time, hanging with Homicide. We were at the Elks Lodge one night. I remember meeting him and talking to him, but I never did work with him. Yeah.
This was a pretty interesting match. I'm gonna start with Alicia because she's been quiet, so I want to get her talking.
Sorry.
Yes. Also, John, we have a lady here on the show.
I know.
I'll let you know 30 minutes in. Her name is Alicia. Alicia, say hi to everybody.
Howdy. How's it going, everybody?
It's going, yeah.
So.
She's like our Robin Quivers here on the show. She's just the good-looking lady that puts us in line. We're a bunch of maniacs.
We behave now.
Yeah.
So why do you think Ace Austin's getting the push that he's getting? I mean, it seems like they're pushing him for bigger things from the matches that I saw. I mean, he had won last week, and then he'd come up and beat Hernandez, and it looked like it was one of those things where Hernandez should have destroyed him, especially when he did the Rockabye Baby thing. I thought pretty much.
Oh yeah, I thought that was lights out.
Yeah. Hernandez is old school, John. Ace Austin is the next generation. Hernandez has got to, he's got to do what he's got to do.
I don't know, Alicia, though, what do you think? This was a big win for Ace, though. This is an advance in the tournament.
No, hold on. I got to give John some info here just because I know he's the sure thing, John Shane. He has a thing for sleaze bags in the wrestling industry. This guy, Ace Austin, John, his character over the course of the past few months, I mean, his whole thing is he's banging wives, he's banging girlfriends. He's that guy. They did a skit where he was in bed with a real adult film star. I mean, he would make the sure thing proud. I'm telling you that.
He's definitely a sleazeball, no question about it. No question about it. But despite how sleazy it is, I think Alicia still likes him. She still has a good outlook for his future. What do you think, Alicia?
He's astronomically talented. If he's not the future of the business, I don't know what to say anymore.
He's so good because he's an actor by trade too, John. He's a theater kid, right, Alicia? So he's good at portray. I thought, John, he showed good emotion. I mean, empty arena. You got to really show the facial.
Be tough. I can't imagine working in that type of atmosphere. It's just
not easy.
I don't know how you do it.
It's not easy. Yeah. Ace Austin did get the win, guys. He advances. He advances to the finals. Now, this is huge. I think it's a testament to these young guys who can pull it off in an empty arena like this, show that emotion, get themselves over. I think it was a damn good match for what it was.
Oh, absolutely.
To especially make Ace a credible. I honestly wasn't sure where this one was going to go. I was kind of surprised. Right? Ace was the last minute addition to the tournament. Ken Shamrock got taken out. Ace got put in there, and he's in the finals. I mean, did definitely not see that coming, and we didn't see the final coming. We're going to get to that in a second. That it's a real credibility for the young guy, right, Alicia? This is like
absolutely.
Lost the X Division title. And we weren't sure. Jaybone, I know you and I talked. We weren't really sure what was going to happen with him. He lost the belt. We're like, he's kind of directionless for a little bit here. What do we do with him?
I had a feeling that he was going to be destined for bigger things. I'm not saying he's going to go all the way. I'm just saying the potential is absolutely there. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, he's only 23 years old. That's it. He's a young kid. Young kid. He's already been going through. Already had the title, like real long X Division title reign. The kid's been doing pretty good. Definitely a good stamp. An endorsement stamp by the company to put him in the finals now of the tournament.
Who trained him? Do you know?
He trained he trained with the Wild Samoans.
Okay.
He trained at offense. Yeah.
Who?
He trained with them.
That Pennsylvania. Yeah. I did a few shows back then. Back in the day, we're working with their little fed over there. That's where I met Mana. Mana the Wild, the Polynesian Warrior, and a lot of fun working those Pennsylvania shows with those guys.
Yeah, he trained
Trent Mana from the Larry Sweeney promo that I Snapchat you.
Yeah, that's right.
A day. Where's Mana? You had a lot of good times with Mana, right, John? That was one of your boys for a few years there.
Oh yeah. Actually, he's back in Perth and wherever that is, Australia, wherever he is. He had a pretty good run, man. Big, scary guy. You know what I mean? Did really well with us. We had a lot of fun. I've worked against him and I worked with him. So it was fun. But we were supposed to do a program with him and Havok, but it never developed because he had to go back home. But yeah, he's got some medical issues, but he runs a Fed over there now, and supposedly I know Homicide's gone down, Low Key's gone down. Some of the other guys. If I ever get enough scratch together, maybe I'll go down and see him. And
yeah, so Ace trained. He started with Simone's, and he finished up a little more training in Ohio with the whole with the OVE crew with Sammy Callahan and Dave Chris, the Rockstar. That's right, Alicia. Right? He finished up. He's regular in Ohio now. I know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he works for us a lot in Chicago here too. But he's great. I think this is a great endorsement for him. He comes right off the X Division loss, a title loss, and right into this. This is huge for him. I'm real excited.
Enough about Ace Austin, though, John. I want to ask you, throughout the years, have you ever seen anybody out there in the ring have that swagger like Hernandez? This guy is dancing around the ring. I can't even do it. It's beautiful. It's literally a dance every time he's out there.
He's a swan on his toes.
Fantastic.
And you know what? Him and Homicide together are natural, to tell you the truth. I mean,
Impact Wrestling TNA legends all time. The greatest tag team in TNA history.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You got a lot of history, man. Yeah. We cut over there, guys. Cody Deaner's heading to the Diener compound for the Diener compound match, which when we talk about this, I could not even imagine what this ended up being.
This was the what the fuck moment for John watching at home. I gotta say, this is where he's like, what are these kids watching? What's going on here? But things get a little goofy and fun these days, John.
Yeah.
I do like the little video shot of a guy gearing up, and at least he's getting the motorcycle, he's getting ready, and he zips out, but it ends up not being Diener, and he's like, slow down. He's like, this ain't no boneyard.
I'm sorry.
That's so good.
I thought it was a Geico commercial, man. Really, when it started.
I didn't expect you to get this one, John. That's all right. But it's they got no crowd. They gotta be a little more creative with the
you gotta be
cinematic stuff now.
The off-site cinematic footage.
We got a little shot of Swinger and Chris Bay hyping up for their match. The North heading over to the Diener compound. John, you ever work with Johnny Swinger? He's a New York guy now. You ever cross paths with Johnny Swinger?
No, did not.
Interesting. No. Okay. No. Yeah, he's an upstate guy though. I know he trained like near Niagara Falls, like Buffalo area. So
I'm sure my cousin, one of the Killer Steves. I'm sure he worked with him up in Oswego. He lives up there. I'm sure he knows about him. But
when I was telling John though about Johnny Swinger's current character, I was telling him about the Zubaz, the fanny pack, and John was telling me, "Oh well, we really did that. We did. Fanny packs, the Zubaz, we did all of that. Yeah.
That's still really popular wrestling attire.
It is.
Well, don't wear it. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Well, I had a gimmick match with Tara Charisma, and I wore them. Wore the Zubaz pants. I had to. I mean, it's just certain things you got to bring back. And
they're awfully comfortable for what I hear.
They are.
I had silver and black Zubaz in 1991.
For the Raiders.
Raiders colors. Yeah. And I remember the reason I bought them is because I was driving down and I saw a big billboard with Hawk and Animal because they were part owners of the company.
Yeah.
Advertising Zubaz clothing, and I'm like, Mom, I gotta get whatever the hell that is. And Zubaz pants. Yeah. And I was rocking those in 1991.
Did you have the fanny pack, Trent? Come on.
I had a fanny pack too. I've had many fanny packs in my life, but none now though.
Hands free.
Free. It's true. Ego
is fanny packed, don't you, Trent?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Kyle.
But I like the promo when he was talking about the gimmicks inside the fanny pack, and he had the Fuji dust, which I got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
And the brass knucks or whatever, whatever.
Well, the idea is in his mind, it's 1988. That's the thing. The Pizzills and the Fuji dust, and he drives a Saab Turbo. The Rizats.
That's great stuff. Yeah, that's great stuff.
He's fantastic. It's been a great resurgence for Johnny Swinger to come back in like this. We get a shot, guys, of the North arriving at the compound. They run into some oddball welcoming party, Alicia. Who the hell was this guy? Definitely some country yokel.
Definitely. Well, needless to say, strange things are afoot at the compound or the Diener compound.
Yes.
Compound O'Diener.
Compound O'Diener. This is the kind of neighborhood that Jaybone lives in, though. Jaybone, where people run over people in Checkers parking lots and the country of Wisconsin.
That guy's a wild redneck. You should have been there. You should have been there with your cousins.
We give Jaybone a hard time, John. He lives 45 minutes north of me. I'm in Chicago. He's right, in Brookfield, Wisconsin, not too far from Milwaukee. He's north, but we just redneck him all day long. Just because Wisconsin's the redneck, the south of the north, basically. So we just give him a hard time.
Oh yeah. I tell you, we have a couple of friends, me and my girlfriend up in Minnesota, and they have a cabin in Wisconsin and on a lake that's phenomenal. It's beautiful up there.
The Midwest is it's got its perks, right, Jaybone? Not too bad out here.
Oh yeah.
We get some thoughts from Michael Elgin about his match coming up with Trey. Again, I'm hyping that one because we did that. I didn't see any of that match coming. What happened in there? So I'm excited to talk about that one. We get a match of Cousin Jake, guys. Cousin Jake. So Jake's not at the Diener compound. So obviously we know Cody Diener's in Canada. There was a border issue obviously with the travel and everything. Cody couldn't come down to the U.S. Jake, being on the American side, couldn't get to Canada. So Jake's having a solo match against Chris Bay while Cody's up there with a bunch of wild goddamn Canadians. We're going to get to that, but I can't even describe what the hell that match was. We're not there yet, but we're big fans of Jake something, right? Everybody, let's put it out there. Cousin Jake, he took a loss here to Chris Bay. This was a tough spot, though, because they're really pushing Bay hard, but at the same time, we're always so critical about how sensitive it is to have Jake take these losses right now.
Yeah.
He's getting lost in the shuffle, Alicia. I don't know what's going on, but I think he's gotten matches. What are we doing with him?
We need the upswing.
Big time. John, his first time you ever saw Jake, he's known as Jake something on the Indies. He's a big boy. This is like a future star. I've produced him a lot at AAW. He is to me, he's like the next thing. I mean, he's got it once he elevates up. The thing is, you saw him in that match today against Chris Bay. He's been taking losses. What is it, Alicia? About 3-4 weeks in a row. He has not gotten over.
Pretty brutal.
Right, Jay, the last time we saw Jake go over was that explosion match we watched from Atlanta. Almost 3 months ago.
Yeah, he was going back and forth in a few matches with the Penis King, Joseph P. Ryan. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of his new name.
Joseph Phallus Ryan.
Joseph Phallus Ryan. What do you think? How many losses, before you lose credibility, how many losses could a guy like Jake, a big dude, looks like a star, a big hoss, how many times can you put this guy under before you start really killing off the momentum he's got, though? That's what I'm worried. We're worried. We've been worried about that on this show because he's a big star in the making, man.
It's a strange time in wrestling right now, and you gotta, put people where you put them. It's certainly, I don't think it's a permanent thing. I'm not too worried about it. People are gonna get wins. They're gonna take losses.
Yeah.
They've got who they've got right now, and you've got to take that he was here at these tapings as a huge plus.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He made it there.
He could have been like, no, I'm gonna sit back for several weeks and let this pan out for a while and see what happens. Come summertime, and he was there, working hard and helping out another new talent like Chris Bay. So I get it. It sucks when some of your favorites lose or they lose on a regular basis, but I think they know who they have in Jake something. So I say just give it some time.
Yeah, I hope we don't go too far where you can't pull its credibility back. Because the thing is, the look's already in place. We can't really hurt him too much before we start losing that momentum. So we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks. They got more tapings coming up. Fingers crossed they pull the trigger on him. I think he's ready to go.
Because these matches he's having are good.
They're good matches.
He's getting put over. I mean, not every loss is a loss.
It's a loss. Yeah.
Right. Good point. Swinger climbs in the ring. Him and Bay beat down Jake, but then Willie Mack runs down, helps out Jake. So we might get a little tag team thing coming up here at some point with Willie Mack and Jake and against Swinger and Chris Bay. So they're pushing Chris Bay hard, guys. They're pushing Chris Bay real hard. Obviously, he's one of their focuses for the X division. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where this next set of tapings goes with them. Kyle, you look like you're itching to say something. You look very, very
perplexed.
Like you're on the edge of saying something right now.
I'm just enjoying it, man. I'm having a good time. I got the Sure thing on the show. Greek God Papadon was just on the show. We couldn't get Homicide on. I'll be honest with the audience. We're very transparent. We did try to surprise John with Homicide. He tried. He was down, but then at the final hour, Trent, it's a live broadcast, man. It all can't work out. We can't be spoiled. We tried,
John. No, you know what? That's fine. I mean, Yeah. I mean, I saw him last summer, and it was just great to catch up with him. You know what I mean? And I'm very happy for what he's doing out in LA with NWA, and it deserves all the good things that he gets. To tell you the truth, really.
So John, let me ask you though. At the end of the podcast here, after we finish the review, I'd like to finish off with one more clip from Sure Thing Theater, as I'm calling it here on the show. You want to close out with you and Lethal, with Lethal's mom, that amazing clip, or would you like to watch you and Homicide one-on-one in a hardcore match? Because we got it all. I got the VHS tapes right here next to me.
Oh, God. Well, why don't you pick, man? I mean,
let the audience pick. Let the audience pick. Would you like to see a clip of Sure Thing and Jay Lethal, or would you like to see a clip of Sure Thing and Homicide? Let us know in the comments. Trent, continue.
All right. You guys let us know in the comments. Kyle will cue it up as we find out. Speaking of people, we're big on pushing. Gabby Lorenz in the back. It wasn't Gabby Lorenz. I'm sorry. What was her name? Did she get her name? They never gave her name though, did they?
Never.
Not yet. They didn't. She's not Gabby.
What did Conan call Mackenzie Mitchell? What was his nickname?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Like White Girl number 5 or something.
Yeah. One
of those.
I wonder if this girl now. I could have sworn they gave her name, but they didn't. But if this girl's not too bad. But she's there with Rohit Raju. And she's asking what's next for him. Now, this is another guy who we were dying for him to break away from his tag team. He gets broken out. He gets this awesome promo.
Gia Miller.
Gia Miller. Thanks, guys.
There we go.
Thank you, Ingrid.
They're sharper than us.
She did give her name. That's right. Now that you mentioned, thank you, Ingrid.
They are much sharper than us.
They are. Well, Ingrid also is part of Impact Wrestling, so I'm glad she's letting us know, correcting me. I feel embarrassed now because Ingrid's listening and corrected me, and I should have known that.
But anyway, the whole audience, Trent.
Rohit Raju, who we were dying to get broken out, gets this awesome promo, gets all this build, gets this loss in the tournament against Trey. So we're like, where the hell is he going now? I might be a little biased. We might be a little biased. He's a friend of the show. He's been on the show. I've worked with him extensively. He's a good friend of mine. But at least here we got a little solo time. He's hyping up this match. Well, he's hyping up what's next for him. He's a little frustrated. But then Chase Stevens comes in. TNA original Chase Stevens comes right in. What would I do? Chase Stevens comes in, tries to take a little spotlight.
John's like, what the fuck was that?
I'm never gonna live that down. It was 21 years ago. John's in hardcore matches, and
that was Trent. Oh, we have one for Jay too. Look at the Jaybone one. This is great. Like I always say, John, think of Danny Tanner having a child with Steve Urkel. This is it. This is right here.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Kyle. There's no shots of you like in third grade.
We'll get him. We'll get him.
You know, you
were
like
son of a bitch
grade
eventually.
or something, right? There's none of that.
We'll get him.
I bring you onto my platform and you turn on me like that, man.
No, but I'm saying you're gonna go back 20 years on these guys and 20 years on me. We go back 20 years, you ain't there. You know,
I'm in a diaper, John. I'm in a diaper.
John, don't you worry, John. We recently came across home videos of a young Kyle playing wrestler in the basement.
Wrestling tapes. There's a lot of those.
Playing AJ Styles in 2003 in the basement and trying to. Oh yeah, we got all the home tapes, guys. We've been in communication with Kyle's mom about this.
Cut your hair, Trent. Trent, cut your hair. Here's Kimber Lee, Impact Wrestling Knockout Star, with a message for Trent.
Hey, what's up, Trent? It's Kimber Lee here, if you didn't already know that. And I heard from a little birdie named Kyle. Hello, Rey Mysterio. Surprise appearance. But I heard from a little birdie named your friend Kyle that it might be time for you to get a haircut. And I totally understand. I wasn't able to get one until like today. And the only reason I was able to get one is because my wedding is in 2 days. But haircuts are pretty cool. And Kyle would really like you to get one. And yeah. So thank you. And I will talk to you later, Trent. And so will Mr. Rey Mysterio. Bye.
Get a haircut, Trent.
Where the hell am I supposed to get a haircut? They got me locked in my house for 3 months. Where am I supposed to get a haircut, Kyle? Where do you want me to get a haircut?
Sure thing. You got a lot of professions under your belt. Radio star, comedian, wrestling star. Can you cut hair, John?
No, look at this mop, man.
Don't turn to him for your to help you out here, Kyle. No way. No, absolutely not. Absolutely
you know what?
Not.
He's
got more than Jaybone.
The last haircut I got was right around St. Patrick's Day when my daughter got married, and that was like the last time, you know. And so everything's been growing. That's why I let the beard go. I'm like becoming a mountain man now, you know. It's crazy.
Looking good.
Hermit on the mountain.
You know what, John? You look like you would tell me to like stop loitering in front of my house. Like you would tell me to get off your lawn. That's how it would be.
I imagine you get told that a lot, Kyle. You're just constantly loitering.
Trent, you saw me damn near get arrested live on the show
last night, everybody. We did NWA TNA number 26 on the Throwback Show, and Kyle calls in.
Cool to show up. I was too cool to show up.
He calls in skateboarding from a mall parking lot. Cops start chasing him right off the podcast.
I had to get off the air. It happened.
Actually happened.
Skateboarding is not a crime, Trent. Skateboarding is not a crime.
Unbelievable.
So, Trent, how long ago was that Cody Rhodes Moose match? How long ago was that done?
That was 2017. That was 2017.
Flashback clip.
Yeah, okay. That was a flashback clip. It went a little long. I went a little long for mid-show flashback, but
and you guys were talking about that. That he's got the belt from last week, and what is it? Possessions 9/10 of the law. I guess
9/10 of the law.
Why not? It's not a bad. It's not a bad little angle that you can run that. That's not a bad idea.
They've been rolling with it really well, and it's only grown. And I'll talk about when we get to the Moose segment here in a second.
I'm sorry. Did I jump out of? I got.
You're okay.
Out of turn.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're our guest
When the
today.
short thing's on the show, he calls the shots.
This
all
is
right?
like Olive Garden, John. You're here. Your family. You're okay.
John, fuck that guy. Don't even listen to him. You do what you want. You do what you want.
All right, so what we get, guys, is Rohit challenges Chase Stevens next week. So we got another TNA original facing off against the current Impact Wrestling star. We'll see what happens. Can Rohit get some heat back? Alicia, I hope so, right?
I hope so.
The guy got derailed.
He's such untapped. Yeah, he's untapped talent, and they'd be just wasting him to just keep sitting on him like that.
Yeah, he obviously can talk. The promo was great.
So talented.
Yeah. John, we got to send you some stuff for this guy, Rohit Raju. He wrestles as Hakeem Zayn on the Indies. One of the best promos you've never heard.
Okay.
And he's breaking out finally because of that. And it's nice to get him getting a singles push. It's starting to get that. We got to send it to you. I think you'd appreciate it as a promo guy. You'd love what this guy does for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, we get a rematch. Kimber Lee and Havok get the rematch from last week. This was, I think, better than the other match that they had. I like this one a lot better. Kimber Lee just told me to cut my damn hair, which I really feel insulted by. I'm gonna let her know that
you look
next
like
time she's at AEW.
Caveman, Trent. Trent, you look like Eric Matthews in like the late end there of Boy Meets World when he turns into Plays with Squirrels. You are Plays with Squirrels.
I don't even know. I'm not even catching that reference. Did he go insane at the end? Is that what happened?
Don't worry about it, Trent. Don't worry about it.
I was just Saved by the Bell guy.
Understood. The kids listening understood. Basil understood. Referee Beckman understood. Those are my.
I get it, but I'm a Saved by the Bell guy. I'm a Saved by the Bell kid. What do you want me to say, man?
Show's garbage, Trent.
No, absolutely not. Let's let the listeners vote on it, Kyle. Saved by the Bell versus Boy Meets World right now.
No.
Sound up.
Hey, I go back to Leave It to Beaver. You don't want to talk to me.
Yes.
Get out of here. Cut John's mic. Cut his mic.
Come on.
It happens to me all the time. Don't feel bad.
that Mr. Cleaver was an upstanding citizen.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
Well, yeah.
All right. For all the knockouts matches, I always go to Alicia for these. Alicia, give me your thoughts on this one. I like this one better than the last match they had. But what do you think? Give me your thoughts on this one.
Oh no, I absolutely agree. This one was definitely better. I really hope Impact signs Kimber Lee. I know it's not kind of official yet, but she's so wonderful, and it's just another wonderful addition to the roster.
And I know Jaybone and I love the entrance music because it's very 80s metal sounding in the beginning, right, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
We were rocking out
Real quick, congratulations to Kimber Lee and Zachary Wentz on their wedding this past weekend.
Absolutely.
Past week?
It was on Friday, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
lovely. Love is in the air.
Love's in the air. The Rascals walked her down the aisle. Dez and Trey walked her down the aisle. It was nice. It was real nice.
It was sweet, yeah.
Now, do you think that there was a Rascals bachelor party?
Yeah, no doubt.
Even in COVID times, you think they still went out there and?
I think they've quarantined.
More than likely.
I know Dez for sure was quarantined for like 2 months. He was posting about it. I know he was safe. So I assume that they all were like, well, we've been locked up for 2 months. We're all clean. They probably had a great bachelor party for Zach. No doubt about it. Are you surprised though, Kyle? You can't be surprised. I mean, it's the Rascals. Obviously, they're gonna have a party.
That's some footage I'd like to see pop up on Sammy and Friends. The Rascals bachelor party.
I assume it happened in Ohio. So definitely, Sammy's got to have it on tape. By the way, I saw Ingrid Doggan. What the hell is? I saw a dog in what is this? Boy Meets World over Saved by the Bell. What am I, a lone wolf on an island over here? Everybody's going Boy Meets World.
It's an era thing.
It must be, man.
I'll remember Rachel on
Nobody
BMW.
said like Leave It to Beaver, so
Nah, you're not here, John. Look at my boys right over the Saved by the Bell. Okay, I appreciate it. I got something. I got somebody on my side. Thank you.
No. Stop, J-Bone. Stop cutting me off. I need to. What is this? David Cohen. Kyle, remember Rachel on BMW? Of course I remember Rachel. Rachel was at the end. Why would I Google?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and do that after the show, Kyle.
Oh, she's a porn star now?
She's a porn star now.
I didn't know that. Why are you encouraging that on the air, David Cohen? John, this guy grew up worshiping the shirt thing at LIWF. These are the type of people you're putting into the world, John?
This is the David Cohen. He was at these shows, man. He was at these shows.
Yeah.
Nevaeh gets involved.
What?
Nevaeh gets involved. The first time Nevaeh finally gets in the ring now. She gets in. And
she hit us with those lightning moves, man. I'm excited because, women's tag team titles might be around the corner.
That's what you've been talking about. We've been talking about. Now, it seems like you got a lot of knockouts being signed here.
I mean, think of it. Now that Nevaeh and Havok seem to be teaming up, you know, Tasha Steelz and Kira are together, and Kylie, Ray, and Sue Young seem to be building some chemistry together. So, fingers crossed.
I think at this point, there's no denying that the Knockouts tag titles are coming back. I mean, they're presenting the platter to us. You know,
I think so.
Oh, I hope so, because I will willingly eat out of it.
They're not randomly linking up these female tag teams for no reason, gang. There's
good point
going on here. There is a hidden agenda at play.
Good point. John, you ever manage any women? Any women's wrestling?
Oh yeah.
John's been slapped by a lot of women. I've seen it.
You know, on the Manitoba match, I said, "What's with John Shane and women?" And the commentator goes, "Usually restraining orders." No, I managed Cindy Rogers. I don't know if you knew who Cindy Rogers was.
No.
She was big in the Northeast back in those days. She had to retire due to a neck injury, but what I loved working with her was that she really loved wrestling. She was a big Bret Hart fan. You know, a lot of women I worked with in the business back in those days were more about getting themselves over, and they didn't really have the history of wrestling. But when you talk to somebody who actually has the passion for it, like I do, and some of the other guys I worked with, that you love to work with people like that. And she reminds me, when I see Bailey, it reminds me of Cindy Rogers back in the day. April Hunter, I did some work with her.
I remember her. Yeah.
And Tara Charisma, you probably don't. I worked with her, and I worked cyberspace. I did a program with Sunny a little bit with Tammy Sitch.
Nice.
So yeah, so you know, I have worked with some, and you know, it's you know, I didn't mind it because usually I came across as, you know, I'm the old school heel, and you know, I always called the women valets. You know, they were like chocolate chip cookies. They taste good, but they're not very filling. You know, and that's kind of the way I always described the valets when I would be. Because I always saw myself as the guy, you know, keeping the candle lit for managers, and women would come on, you know, and you know, I had no problem with it, but they were getting over, you know, and you know, and I was like hanging on, you know, so
nice.
But yeah, you know, but Cindy Rogers was somebody I managed for quite a few years, you know, and then I also did work with I can't believe my mind's going, Rodney Mack's wife,
Jazz.
Yeah. She worked with us in cyberspace too. She was a great lady, and so was Rodney. A lot of fun working with them.
John, I want to take a quick pause on the review here for just a second because you mentioned NWA Cyberspace. Real quick as you can, tell people that are unfamiliar what NWA Cyberspace was and what you did there. I mean, first off, I can throw in there that they work directly with TNA because they want to hear that. I got to preface that. You dealt with a lot of TNA folks, but
right. We had
explain cyberspace to them.
Okay. We had Jeff Jarrett, we had Bobby Roode, we had the Naturals, we had Julio De Niro, we had I can't even remember all the guys that we brought down there, but
Mike Tenay came down there once. I had that clip.
If you have that clip of the Solution versus America's Most Wanted, when we won the titles, I sent you that clip. That's a clip. That's a quick little clip if you want to show that one. That one's not bad because that just shows the ending, you know, and it shows me doing my Jerry Lawler crawl across the ring, which
fantastic.
So,
we'll get to that at the end, but here is John. I gotta bring this up because we're talking cyberspace.
Okay.
Now, out of all the great cyberspace stories you have, there's one that lives on to this day. People love this, and I know that you were there. So I'm going to play the clip, and then when we come back, just give us your memories and whatever pops to your head first. Let's take a look back on one of the most popular things that the NWA Cyberspace brought into the world that people still love to this day.
Mr. Luger, I saw what just happened out there with Ron Killens. I just want to ask you, I mean, what are your plans for the next show, Super Brawl Saturday? I mean, are you going to take care of Ron Killens?
What kind of disgusting, despicable lack of respect is that Billy What's-His-Name show booking a match for the total package Lex Luger and Super Brawl? Super Saturday? What is it? I don't even know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can he afford to pay me to wrestle Ron? I don't know. I'm one of the biggest legends and stars ever in this. God! And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy! And you book a match with me against Ryan Killings! Look at me! I'm a total package! I will rip him apart! I'm pissed now!
I don't think I'd...
Take us back, John. Take us back.
Well, yeah, I was in the room during that. You know, Lex was fun to work with. I mean, we worked. I think he worked 2 or 3 shows with us. He was fine. There was no problems with that. We had Piper on a couple of our shows too, and you know, and it's funny because when you're back there with those guys, I think golf is the only sport that you can play with the guys you grew up watching. I don't think most other sports you can't. So when you're back there with these guys, you try to be cool, you try to be professional, but we broke down. We got pictures with Piper. We had to. I mean, come on, he's Roddy Piper. I mean, you know, come on. You know, so a lot of times, you know, I got close with some like Ox Baker and some of the classic guys, and you get to, you know, pick their brains, which is great. And you know, but Lex was fine. I don't really remember anything. You know, he just cut that. You know, that was all right off the top of his head right there. And I don't.
No kidding.
Back to the.
What was that?
Did you ever think back then? You know, that's hysterical. That's going to live on for years and years.
No, you know, come on. You know, I mean, we had some great matches there, and that's the stuff that has like millions of hits, right?
It lives on, man.
And then you see the clip with us in AMW. It's 5 people watching. You know, I mean, it's like, come on. You know, but yeah, but whatever. But cyberspace
love a good train wreck.
Cyberspace was a fun fed, and and I worked with a guy named Derek Gordon down in Florida. And Derek did some work with WCW, and when he took over the book, things really started to change over there because Billy Firehawk, which was our promoter, he you know had a big heart. He had a lot of money behind it, but until he brought Derek in, it wasn't taken very seriously, you know, by the boys and everything. But once we started work, we started putting on quality shows. Things started working out for us, and I had a lot of fun down there. Worked with some great talent. We really ran out of the Wayne PAL in Wayne, New Jersey, and yeah, I mean we had AMW and yeah, a lot of fun, good times. And what happened was we were really starting. We had Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode became our champion, and we were really starting to get traction, and then Billy passed away, and then that was it. And his wife really didn't want to have anything to do with it after that. And the Fed I really think if Billy was alive, I think we would still be doing something now. And oh, you're going to show this right now?
Let's show it at the end.
Oh, a quick 5-minute clip here, Trent. Quick 5-minute clip.
All right, show it.
Then we'll close out with Billy.
All right, okay, all right, cool.
Only a 2 count.
So we've got TNA Wrestling Legends, America's Most Wanted, up against John Shane and his Solution.
Thank you.
And the commentary is today in Crowbar.
Talking about, but I wasn't sure if the public listening and watching this would understand that, sir.
Now, what year is this?
Thank you
This
so
is,
much. Okay, it's now.
2005,
Storm whipping a member of Solution into
4,
the
something like that.
ropes. And Chris
The AMW is
Harris
really
going
flying
into
at this point. I mean, 2004 or 5, they were one of the best. They were the best tag team in the world at this point.
Only to, look at this now.
All right, well, TNA Impact was hot at the time, and you guys were, you know, bringing some of that to cyberspace. God damn.
That's Hanson, the referee.
Dean Crowbar, you guys cannot get involved, obviously, here.
Keep your eye on Shane at all times.
Look at the commentator.
Jeremy Borash back there. Keep your eye on Shane at all
Spear
times.
by Chris Harris. Shane coming into the ring right now.
Hey, Shane.
I love that crawl.
Yeah, stolen from Jerry
this looks
Lawler.
like a car wreck in the ring here.
Hey, at least you're honest.
A spear, wasn't it, from one of the members of the Solution? I was trying to keep my eye on.
However,
yeah, we've been reviewing the old NWA TNA stuff on Monday nights, and you know we're at the height of at the beginning, I should say, of AMW rising at this point. So we're watching. So it's cool to see them. You know, they're making all these appearances.
He's got the replay button.
My goodness, this looks like a.
Let's get ahead here.
Dean, this could be the end of it for America's Most Wanted, but Chris
it's incredible
Harris
to see how much production has improved for the independents too. You know, nowadays
pre-internet, man.
Pre-internet. I mean, now independents have 4K cameras now. You know,
Papa Don takes a great bump here.
Really has to step up to the plate right now, Mike. Today.
Watch this. Chris Harris going to elevate him, and you can just watch James Storm off the top. Check this out.
One of their patented moves.
Oh.
The body press.
Shane again.
Shane again coming up to the ring.
Look at this guy.
Distracting the referee. This man should be banned from ringside.
Did you see that? He just threw brass knucks.
How young these two are, James Storm and Chris Harris.
Sure thing through the knucks in.
No, AMW did not see it. And more importantly, the referee didn't see it.
He's got the nuts. Keep your eye on this guy, Chris. Chris has.
How about that, huh? We lose Kyle.
We won the belts that night.
We lost Kyle in that. When he comes
did we?
Oh,
He ran off with the tape.
All right. We got. So I'm gonna
Way
keep
to go,
going here.
Kyle.
We're backstage. Tasha Steeles and Kira Hogan confront Kylie Ray. Now, Kylie Ray is the sweetest girl in the world. Alicia, more knockouts. I'm gonna go to you on this. She's like the nicest person ever.
The sweetest girl in the world, nicest person ever, until you push her too far and she starts yelling at everybody. I kind of love that feature about her.
Apparently, my computer crashed because the legacy of the sure thing John Shane is just so powerful that my computer couldn't take it, and it.
Who needs Hulkamania? Who needs Hulkamania?
Continue with the review, Trent. We'll pull up more sure thing clips. We got.
Alicia was in the middle of something. If you can shut your mouth for a second. She's talking.
I didn't know. I got kicked out.
He keeps cutting me off.
I got kicked out. You think I heard her speaking while I was kicked out?
Jesus Christ! You're like a
What a
pair of scissors.
scumbag.
Am I psychic?
Get your shit together, Kyle.
Cut his mic. Cut his mic. Will you, J-Mo?
I ruined the show.
All right, Alicia was saying something about Kylie Ray and this segment here.
Oh, I just love that they push her to a point and this fire just comes out of her. And I, again, like that they're kind of teaming her up with Susie, for those tag team titles.
The eventual knockouts tag belts. But I like this Tasha and Kira Hogan thing. I like it. I mean, they're bullies.
They
Like
fit well.
Kira was like lost, I think, after like the last couple programs. She had honestly I had no idea what they were gonna do with Kira Hogan. They were like completely not sure, but they had a long-term goal, and it looks like this was it. Tasha Steeles comes in. She's basically now the locker room bully. I like it. I think it works for her. I think she's embraced it pretty well. Tasha's feeling more comfortable with her. This is going to be good, especially with Susie. But I felt this one, guys. I felt it. I know Kylie. I know her from Chicago. I know her personally. And to see her get bullied for that split second, I just got lost in the moment. I'm like, damn.
You know her personally, Trent?
I do.
Good for you. Good for you.
But she's a Chicago girl, man. She's one a hometown girl. I felt that one when she got bullied by these two. But I liked it.
Good for you.
There it is.
I did. Yeah, it took you long enough. You're off there.
Hour later.
That's
Later.
right.
I don't care. As long as I don't care how long it takes, Trent. As long as I get that jab in on you, I'm a sick fuck. I'll wait 10 years.
You're playing 40-minute matches with no problem, but the soundbite that you need to be like this on, you can't cut for shit.
Can't work. That's right. This is a train wreck of a podcast. That's why they love us.
No, not train wreck. Work in progress, Kyle.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Professionally unprofessional.
So, Alicia, I think that's where we're going. Knockouts tag belts. We got two potential teams right here, along with that last one, Nevaeh and Jessica Havok. So we'll see what these belts got to be coming back. Obviously, we know the old belts are at the studio where they're recording because Moose had the TNA title. Maybe the knockouts belts are sitting around there somewhere. Who knows? J-Bone, maybe at your house. I don't know. J-Bone's out. Yeah, there he goes. Looks suspicious. I know it. All right, this is it now.
They're not under the desk.
No, I hope not, Jay. Diener compound, the North arrive and are greeted by a bunch of yokels. We're about to get to something here in a second. But right before that, Joey Ryan in the back, Joseph P. Ryan, comes up to the Chris brothers. Again, now I'm going to Alicia again on this because she's a big OVE fan. Her heart's been broken the last 3 weeks. John, this team of OVE has been booked into the ground. Like they've been losing. It's been breaking her heart. She's a big fan of this team. And all it hurts. We're trying to hopefully get them on track here. But this so what happens here? I break it down, Alicia. Joey Ryan comes up to them and he says he has a match Crazy Steve, but he wants them at ringside. Now, what do you think this is about?
I don't know, and I don't think I like it. I don't want to see the Chris brothers with Joseph Fallis Ryan. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know, Jay. Can you see a politically correct OVE? I don't know, man. What do you think about this?
That's a thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down. J-Bone's not listening to the hell with
I'm sorry.
the hell with it. He's drunk. He's hammered. He's been hammered since Friday night.
I was born on PBR, Trent. We found that out. Jay was a PBR baby.
Born on PBR.
There it is. He's got it right there.
Fancy.
John, you ever seen these two brothers before? They used to wrestle as Ohioans for Killers. They started about mid-2000s. And they've been
what is it? Irish Airborne? What was it?
Irish Airborne.
Irish Airborne, yeah.
Irish Airborne first.
The Ring Riders.
Yeah.
No, Trent, I feel like I'm back at high school. I didn't study for the exam. You know, I mean,
That's okay.
you know, you're asking me these questions, and like I said, I tuned in last week, and I tuned in a little bit. And Kyle's like, yeah, you know, just kind of keep half an eye on it. And
Just that's fine.
And I'm
whatever we can to get you on.
Who you talking about now? Who you talking about? You know,
just lie, John. Just lie. That's what I do.
I throw it at you.
Make it.
I throw it at you to see maybe some of these guys maybe cross paths in the East Coast.
Yeah,
you know, because a lot of times everybody makes, you know, they take a booking where they can. They'll drive the 24 hours for $50 just to get that booking.
It's true though, man. You know, it is true. You know what I mean? But you know what? It looks like a solid program from what I saw. You know, and I'll jump in when I remember seeing things I saw. You know.
Well, John, I'm just gonna keep forcing you on Tuesday nights to watch the show, and like a month from now, I'm gonna have you on, and you're gonna know everything. You know, I'm telling you.
Shit, we're gonna get John signed over. That's what we're gonna do.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a whole nother chapter of the Sure Thing. You know, the podcast career with that snot-nosed kid that won't leave me alone. That's, you know, why not?
Kyle's going to be the kid on John's lawn.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to
dark side of the ring. Show a thing dies in the ring going back. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Hey.
And then they could talk to, we had him on our podcast. He was a nice guy. Then he drops dead in the ring.
Did you guys ever see the footage of him and Mick Foley? Come on.
All right, this next one, guys. This next one was bananas. This was the Diener compound match. The North World Tag Team Champions taking on Cody Diener and Wheels. We come to find out Wheels. We thought Wheels was the guy in the wheelchair. It wasn't Wheels. It wasn't the referee. Referee Cameron in the wheelchair. It wasn't him. It wasn't anybody else.
You know what's sad? That movie did off the rope when he spun around. The referee.
Yeah.
I could never do that in a million years. And there's a guy who with no legs doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you know.
That guy's incredible.
I've seen him live, John, and the way he moves around the ring is mind blowing.
That scene from Superbad when Jonah Hill is running and the crippled kid runs past him. You know what I mean? Like that. You know.
This guy's his name's Referee Cameron. He's out of BCW up in Windsor. So
but you got to give him credit that you like that
time.
and that you went out and did what you wanted to do. You got it. That's amazing.
It was fantastic. No, he can go. He can really go. But this was just a wild match. Jaybone, this is like something out of your neck of the woods, literally up there in the south of the north, Wisconsin. These are the kind of people you live next to, right? These are kind of your neighbors here. What do we deal with?
They're just down the road. I swear to God. Yeah, and with everything that's going on, and we've got these empty arena shows, you've got to keep the audience engaged somehow. You've got to stay ahead of the game as far as creativity, and we've seen that on several different brands, and we've seen nods to that all throughout this show, especially during this match. Certain nods towards the Boneyard match was at the first part of the show. Now this one, they were up on top of the trailer. I think that's a nod to
Randy Orton,
Edge and Randy,
Edge versus.
Oh,
Randy
is that what
Orton.
that was?
Yeah, because they were all over the place for like 45 minutes. It was another grand train wreck of a match.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That was like a drone shot. They got that shot from a drone.
I love the drone shot. And that was
that.
Yeah, he's just laying there.
Yeah.
It was so dramatic.
That's absolutely classic. That they actually had the drones all over the compound down the road following the Harley.
Oh,
it was just great.
It was shot so awesomely, though. I mean, the production team at Impact Wrestling, Eric Tompkins, David Sahadi, their whole team is unreal. What these guys pull off, man. The stuff that they've done with the video packages and the cold opens. These guys are nuts, man. The stuff that they come up with is mind blowing to me. Sometimes I don't know how I'm a producer myself. I don't even know where you start with some of this stuff sometimes. So it's the way this whole thing was shot was just awesome. Was awesome, but it was wild, man. You just had a cast of characters.
Anybody have any idea? The chat's going crazy. They love the ladies on here. Alicia's a big hit. They really just love the ladies here on the show, and they want to know who was that female that got out of the truck. I have
Who
no idea.
was the girl out of the truck? Who came out of the truck? You know, because then she walked down there like, well, that's not Wheels.
It's Cody Diener, so that was Jody Diener.
Was it? Did they say her
Jody
name?
Diener?
Is it Jody Diener?
No, that's a guess.
Okay.
That was the first thing off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll be here all week. Try the pork.
Can-Am.
She's a student at Can-Am. Is that what we got? Let's see. Who is
Yeah.
it? Okay. All right. So yeah, that's very cool. So I mean, we didn't know. We had no idea, but it was a nice distraction. And especially. Oh, okay. Thanks, Ingrid. Yeah, amongst all that odd cast of characters, it looked like going to the gathering of the Juggalos. That's what that reminded me of.
Oh,
definitely.
That literally reminded me of like just a bunch of Juggalos hanging out.
John, when you guys were doing
Yeah.
when you guys were doing cyberspace, did you ever book ICP?
Oh, no. No.
Oh, okay. I was hoping we'd get one out of that.
No.
We bring up
One
ICP
day.
somehow in every interview ever. Row heat doesn't matter. We work these. We're fascinated with these maniacs. Truly are.
This ended though, guys, with the Iceman making an appearance. The Iceman, he made an appearance in all these North segments so far. Up in, he's a character himself, but he runs in. Cam gets taken out. Iceman runs in, takes off his shirt. Fast counts it. North keeps the belt.
The Iceman is money, man. I'm sold on
great.
the Iceman. I am sold on the Iceman.
He's grown on me.
I would love. The thing is, the North can talk, but man, I would love the Iceman.
The Iceman is the cult classic from these segments. Not William Dipley, not my brother William. It's the Iceman.
No, the Iceman is definitely we got to get the Iceman on the show.
Universe. I'm loving this North Diener universe.
It's a whole
you got
different
that
world.
going on. You have the Undead Realm. I just like how Impact Wrestling is like a comic book, and there's just these strange universes that exist within the television program.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I'm talking now, John. What happened? Just a little background here. Because of the pandemic and the borders closed, these guys are in Canada. They couldn't get down here, for the tapings. Talk about making the best out of a situation. They filmed all these segments in Canada and patched them into the show. But look, they created this whole different universe and feud that's just in Canada. It's just going on here, and it's wild.
Well, that's what I'm such a moron, Trent. Of all the shows to bring Sure Thing on, it just so happens. Oh yeah, it's during the pandemic. There's no crowd. Oh yeah, half the roster isn't there because they're at home safely in quarantine. So John, give us another shot if you're not totally sold on Impact. Come back on in maybe a few weeks from now, and we got more stories and footage anyway. We could have you on here all night.
Yeah. I'm sure the other guys are, yeah, great, Kyle. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Kyle and Sure Thing show. I don't need these bums.
Oh,
you can do the uncle and nephew show. You can just do that. Russo's got the bro show, the bro show with his son. You guys can do the uncle and the nephew show.
Yeah, and every few years, John's stories will change just a little bit.
A little bit,
just a little bit. And, towards the end of the run, the stories are completely different.
Before you know it, John headlined WrestleMania 3 against Andre.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
The best part of this, though, guys, they literally ran the North out of town with pitchforks.
With the pitchforks and torches. I love that.
This was like something out of a sitcom. It was unbelievable. I loved it.
That was hilarious. I was waiting for the Benny Hill. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. The Benny Hill music would have been perfect.
Yes.
Perfect, yes. I just love that it seemed like they were having fun.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Yes. Everybody had a good time.
Well, because you're taking them out of a usual element and you're
putting them to their own devices and they're so talented.
Yeah, and you figure, say, hey, let's have fun with it. I mean, why not? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The thing is, John, the North is one of the best tag teams you'll ever see, and they're incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you see them in an actual in-ring match, you'll see it. These guys are unreal.
Yeah, I
Character-wise,
thought they were very good. Yeah.
They're definitely two of the hottest guys, in the industry today, and they're killing it. And they've just made the best out of this whole lockdown. So I'm saying when you see a national in ring with them, you'll be impressed.
Well, that's what you got to, you know what I mean? You got to take advantage of opportunities as they pass. So, I mean, like, if half the roster's not there, the other guys are going to step up and hopefully get noticed and take it where they want to go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This is opportunity knocks, and you got to step on. You got to go for it if you get an opportunity to do it.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
you got to take advantage.
We just got word Ty just put over Alicia wearing the Loca gear on the show. Is that what she watching the show? Shout out to Miss Ty Valkyrie watching the show.
Hey.
Look at these two just showing Loca gear. Look at these two.
It's a vibe.
Jaybone, we gotta get on this, man.
When I told you that I would never sell out, I meant us as a unit, as a collective. I personally would sell out. I would cut you off in a second.
Oh, listen, I'm all for selling out. Look, I'm a musician. You know,
I'll take Alicia with me. She'll be my Robin Quivers. I don't need you bums. I don't need you guys.
Listen,
let's start the show.
Jaybone, just you and I, man. Two good Midwestern boys gonna take the ship into the ground. Man.
We got
I'm not gonna front though. This is literally the most comfortable sweatshirt I own ever.
It's like wearing
so
a blanket.
soft.
It's like a comforter. It's very comfy.
I have to jump on this, guys. The new drop is June 15th, right? The next line comes out, Kyle.
Right.
I believe so.
15th. I have it tattooed on me.
Loca wear.
Loca wear by Ty Valkyrie.
I'm a Loca man, Trent. The man doesn't make the Loca. The Loca makes the man.
Kyle, we don't want to know where that tattoo is, okay? Just
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Cut his mic. All right. TJP and Falaba in the back. They're talking about going for the tag team championships, but the Rascals come in and say, "Well, who the hell are you? We beat you guys. We have a win that puts us in line first." I loved it because Jaybone and I have talked about this for a long time. The Rascals are due for a tag team title run. I mean, already it's been, I think it's a year too late. Alicia, I think when we were in Philly last year, that should have been the tag win. I think they were ready.
I agree.
At the time. I think
they were very ready.
Yeah, and I think we missed a little bit of that buzz at that time. But good.
Oh, they did that weird spot where the Trey messed it up for him or something,
yes.
right? He got
Trey was drunk.
Too drunk on the giggle juice.
Yes, he made the pin. But the way the crowd popped for the title win at the time,
we wanted it.
I was like, they dusty finished it, John. They gave it a dusty finish at the ECW arena. And it brought everybody to tears. You had everybody pop for a title change, and then it was like, no.
It was Antiques Roadshow where you're so happy at first, and then you find out that it's not real, and it's disappointment.
Yeah. It's a good analogy. That's what it was. So they square off, these two, TJP and Fallon, say, we disagree. We're going to challenge you guys next week. Winner gets the #1 contendership. So perfect. I love where this is going. I'd love to keep it on the Rascals, though, guys. I want to see the Rascals.
John, when you see the Rascals, all your years in the business, did you ever think that you'd finally see your wrestling characters just green 420, going all the way, not just hinting at it? Did you ever think that would be a thing?
Come on. I broke him with Grim Reaper. Come on, man.
A guy named Grim Reaper. It was 20 years before this, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
That's true.
Nothing's going to surprise me in wrestling. No, I've stopped being surprised a long time ago. But, he actually had a spot called the Smokeout, and he would, it's like
trust me, I know. I got to meet him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
We especially speaking of the greenhouse, the treehouse, the Rascals are in there hanging out, getting stoned, having a good time. Moose finds his way in, gives Trey a pair of the sunglasses. Trey gets very excited, and Moose is very smiley here, Alicia. He was extremely smiley in this, so I guess that's what happens when you go to the treehouse.
It's that contact buzz. As soon as you walk up to the door, it probably hits you.
Look, the best part of this, Jaybone's nodding his head. He's definitely been to the treehouse. The best part was Moose is like, don't you want to be like all the names who've had this? Kurt Angle, Sting, Moose, and then they just die laughing.
My ass.
They just die laughing. That was the best part. And then some Moose encourages Trey, go after my title. Forget Tessa's. Be like me. So I don't know what I guess
Moose stole their glasses last time. Remember the last time he crashed? Yeah,
he brought him back the glasses. That's why they got excited. So that was it. That was a nice little. I love callbacks like that.
Is that what that was? I didn't know what that was.
He stole the glasses last time. So this is a nice. Almost 8 months ago? When did that happen? That was a long time ago.
Oh wow, that was.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you. It was a long time ago.
Tell you.
I'm looking for Critical Sting to tell me because he'll point it out in 2 seconds in the chat and when that was. We get the flashback. John's what you mentioned earlier. This was the flashback from 2017. Cody and Moose. This is for a title that they no longer have active. The Grand Championship, which was a round system title, didn't really go over too well with the fans. But
I don't give a damn.
Cody was,
Now-
yeah, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't.
I appreciate that Moose was in the flashback.
Yes, we had a current guy in the flashback,
We
and
had
of
a
course,
current guy in the
you
and
put
Cody
Cody-
Rhodes, who was only with the company for 2 months.
2 months, but
2 months.
obviously, marketing being what it is, Cody Rhodes is going to get some buzz, right?
Yeah.
You throw him on the show.
Congratulations to him. The dude's doing wonderful, but you know, it's an Impact show.
Yes, at least they had Moose in there going over, so that was good. Well, I guess Bill cared. All right, but Bill was in the audience on that one, so you could see him in the crowd. All right,
I
now this
really
is a
want to
big-
know, was Bill really in the crowd for that
was.
LIWF match? Because
for that one.
I believe it, because he's always there. I would not doubt it.
He was saying he was there. Let's go, Bill. If you want to confirm, were you in that LIWF crowd for that match?
Better not be working us, man.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
We get a big announcement here. A big announcement next. Deonna Purrazzo signed with Impact Wrestling. I know Alicia marked out big time for this.
I did.
Donna Purrazzo, yes.
I'm sorry. No, Deonna, man. It's not Donna.
It's Donna. I did the interview with BQ. He introduced her.
He called her Donna, yeah.
I'm going to take BQ's word as gospel because he's an all-time genius. And her name is Donna.
So he interviewed her for an hour and called her Donna, huh? Is that what happened? Isn't that terrible?
That was my introduction to the podcasting world. Everybody, here's Kyle the scumbag. He's with somebody fucking up introductions, That was
John, how would you feel if you're on an interview and somebody kept calling you Jim the whole interview? would you continue with the interview, or would you cut the interview off?
No, you would make it. You'd rag on the guy. So what's the matter? Don't do your homework. What's wrong with it?
So how about this? We did an interview with a guy. The three of us. Some guy interviewed who was a listener to the show.
And he's
interviewed
listening
us.
now, so be careful.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I mean, he called Kyle the wrong name. What did he call you, Kevin or something?
I don't know what he said, but I just made it a point where every time he came back to me, I was like, Dave. I just kept calling him Dave.
His name wasn't Dave. They kept calling him Dave or Scott, like a different name each time.
I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did.
Screw up your own goddamn name. Seriously.
Hey, well, if you're going to introduce me, invite me onto your platform and get my name wrong in the intro, I don't, quite frankly, I don't care what your name is at that point. Chris,
He didn't even get. How about this, John? He invites us on his show. He didn't even get the name of the show right. He didn't get our show's name right. He
called us Impact Wrestling. It's like, yeah, that's us.
I would love to be, but we're not. It's like,
only.
Yeah, he called Kyle like Cameron or something. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. We took the interview over though. It was pretty nice. We totally dominated the whole thing.
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
But Alicia, Deonna Purrazzo, this is a huge one. She just left NXT. 30 days nearly to the day she is in Impact Wrestling. This is a huge get for Impact Wrestling.
It really is. I mean, I'm pretty sure she was quoted in an interview recently saying that it was a direction she wanted to go, and lo and behold, we got her.
Yeah, we got her.
I
Man.
mean, Impact's women's division has just rolled me up and smoked me, and I'm pretty stoked about that.
I think with this signing now, Tasha, Kimber Lee, Nevaeh, these new signs the last couple weeks, this is probably the best women's division in wrestling right now. John,
Step up, ladies.
Yes, John, I'm telling you.
The Knockouts tag titles are coming. There's no denying it. It's not speculation. They're setting it up. Well, why are these women just tagging up like that? It's for a reason. There's an agenda.
Give me what I want.
Well,
John,
you would think, the E a little bit are pushing their ladies tag teams, but you know what? You look for something that's not getting pushed, and if the knockout tag team is not getting pushed, and there's other feds out there that are not using women tag team champions, then you push that. You try to be different. You just try to do something just a little bit different that maybe might turn some heads. And you know what? Tag team wrestling, it's always close to my heart. And when done correctly and done right, it can some of the hottest feuds, the Rock and Rolls and Midnight Express. I mean, you go back. Some of the hottest feuds in wrestling with tag teams, the Road Warriors and the Freebirds, the Von Erichs and the Freebirds. Come on, I mean, this is
can't beat it.
I mean, this is real wrestling heat. This is the stuff that legends are made of. And
I love all the old school stuff.
Tag team wrestling over the years, it goes in stages, and I think it's on a bit of a downturn now, because when you get two guys, especially on the indies, and that's when we put the solution together, was that there weren't any tag teams or established guys. And that's where you get work. So there's not many tag teams. So if we're a tag team, people might want to use us. And then the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels came along, and the Hit Squad and everybody else. So, you look for any way in that you can come out, I'd manage midgets if they came back. You know, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just something different. You know, just something you can be unique one way or another, or do something the other guy's not doing. That's more in your favor.
On top of that, Impact's always been one that always promoted the women strong. I mean, their champion, their heavyweight champion is a woman. The first company to ever do that. I mean, they've always championed women.
Yeah, I mean, and you put a lot on Tessa Blanchard for that. You put a lot on her shoulders. And I mean, come on, look at that lineage. That lineage, you know, Tully Blanchard, for Christ's sakes, and Magnum TA. I mean, that lineage is, that's something. That's something
Absolutely.
to do that. You know, I mean, I bet the only other woman that probably pull that off would maybe be Charlotte Flair, and that's probably it. You know,
it's not easy to do. Not easy to do. And then they're going to give that same importance.
Believable. Make it that you're going to wrestle men and pull that off. And I think from what I saw anyway, again, only watching 2 shows, either they're doing Ace Austin or Trey against her. You know, I think if you look from what I saw, I think it'll probably be Ace Austin.
I'm thinking it could be. Well, yeah. Well, and we're going to talk about Trey in a second. But yeah, no. I mean, I can see them going with these knockouts tag team titles. Just as much importance on the women's tag belts as they have on the men's. The company's always done that since the beginning. So right now, the women's roster is stacked. I can only imagine what this is about to be. Speaking of which,
in a time when everything else around the world is falling apart, a brand like Impact Wrestling is like, hey, we're going to make you a star. Hey, you're a free agent? Oh, you're in. You know, they're making significant changes and people are talking about it.
It's a revolutionary time for the company. No question about it. I mean, you're right, Jaybone. A lot of people aren't making stars around there. They're just getting by, putting things through. But these guys they're trying different stuff. And I think that's commendable, man. Johnny
Sure
Bravo.
Thing, help this guy out. Sure Thing. The Donut Lovers wants to know, hey guys, what do you recommend I do for having a birthday in COVID? Come on, the Sure Thing is a party animal.
Sure Thing would know. I'm gonna go to the Sure Thing.
Cake in the basement. Remember, as a kid, you had cake in the basement. You know what I mean?
Cake in the basement.
You know, my kids, Chuck E. Cheese and all this, and Nathan's. I had cake in the basement. You know, so go back old school. Have cake in the basement, and play some games. You know, my kids turned me on to that that heads up game. You know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yes.
You know, again, I'm like my dad. You know, with technology and stuff. Like I used to be pretty good back in the '80s. You know, and when I'd help my dad fix the VCR. You know, why does it keep blinking 12? You know what I mean? and now I'm that guy because I got a Fire Stick. My kids had to set everything up for me. I'm like a total. You know, I'm a total brain dead when it comes to this stuff. Kyle had to talk me to get this damn thing on.
Oh yeah, there was phone calls. You know, we had to get the volume going. You know, hey man, it's a work in progress, John. You know, we do our best here.
Yeah,
we try at least.
Kyle, hey, for your birthday, Donut Lovers, for a $5 donation to his Patreon, Kyle will call you and talk to you for 2.5 hours about anything and everything you want.
I will. I remember that.
That's what we're gonna do. Kyle,
Okay.
we got bills to pay here too.
Sure.
I'm putting you out there.
Dude, just subscribe to my OnlyFans account, man.
If you can
OnlyFans.com/Kyle the Scumbag.
If you can spend $700 on Loca gear, you can call this guy on his birthday for $5.
Well, where do you think I got the money to get this Loca gear, Trent? This is dirty money. This is OnlyFans money. This is dirty money.
Lover, and he wants help on a birthday party. Is that it?
That's it. He wants to see it. I think Kyle should give him a call.
You got a stripper and a couple of midgets. You got a party. There you go.
There you go. I'm sure it's something Kyle can arrange for sure.
Hey. I'm an upstanding citizen.
Right?
Johnny Bravo with Rosemary, and they're starting to warm up to each other now. He's venting to her about what Taya really is mean to me, and she's really turning up the heat here, Alicia.
Apparently, she's worse than the devil.
She's worse than the devil. I mean, I don't know, man. This is John Bravo and Rosemary. What are we doing here? This is going to be very interesting.
On the first date, slut.
Now, I'm
terrified.
I'm terrified what's going to happen here.
I love it.
I love it too. Taya hates him, but she loves him at the same time. You know, she's not gonna know what she's got till it's gone.
Did you see Johnny breaking down though? And I thought about the interview we had with him, and
I know
when he was on our show, he was just so. Oh, you guys don't know what it's like with me and Taya, man. That's smoke and mirrors. Everything's great. We love each other. It's all just a work. But then we see on the episode tonight. You know, Rosemary is peeling back the onion dissecting Johnny Bravo, and he's opening up. He is opening up. And he's a slut. And he's a slut, apparently.
He's a slut.
Well, the E does stand for erotic. We do know that. He's confirmed that.
John
Erotic Bravo. There was so much pain behind that onion peel. You know, there was so much pain. She peeled away the onion. There was so much pain that he felt. Jaybone, you're saying something. What's up?
You know, when I felt it when Bravo threw the earmuffs, I shed a tear. I was like, oh, there's the pain right there. It's like 3D in your face.
She makes me wear these indoors. Not even cold. I gotta wear these things. Poor guy. Listen, there was a lot of pain behind it. I think this is the shift.
I'm actually excited to watch this after we finish the pod here. I didn't get to watch Aftershock. I'm going to watch that after this. And apparently, Taya and the Real Housewives of Slamtown are on Aftershock. So I'll be checking that out.
It was good.
Bravo called her in the middle of the show, and she yelled at him again. So I think he's coming to the end of his rope. He's like, that. I don't need this kind of pressure in my life. You know? He's like, what do you mean you're calling to check up on me? He's like, I'm checking up on you. And she drills him. So it's a little abusive relationship
play
here.
sound bites over me.
Yeah, that's what Bravo thought. You know, John, how about this?
Don't play sound bites over me.
We had Bravo on the show.
I know. I saw a little of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kyle over here, your nephew Kyle over here, is playing sound bites over a star. We have a TV star on the show. He's playing sound bites over him. He pissed him off so bad. I don't think he's ever going to come
play
back.
Sound bites over me.
Never coming back. Never coming back.
I think we had a good time, Trent.
That was it. The one and done.
I think we had a good time.
He's never returned. He hasn't returned my call since because of that.
That's it.
Come on, wrestlers are attention whores. They'll come back. Come on, man.
I mean, we have this platform. If you build it, they will come. You come on. We roll the red carpet out for you. We treat you like a god here on the show. I mean, what's not to like, Trent?
I can't get the guy to call me back after that. You played sound bites over him for 40 minutes. I can't get a call back now. There goes my connection.
Sound bites over me.
See,
he was a jerk. He was a jerk. He came in here. He's insulted me. Insulted my pal Alicia down here. Insulted you guys. Hey, you guys are a bunch of marks. You guys were like, "Oh, it's all right, John. We're big fans." I'm like, no. I'm not. I'm going to stand up for myself. I don't care.
It was.
I don't care.
I'm
not going to take disrespect on my platform.
I was the smart guy that connected with him a little one-on-one before the show started.
Yeah,
so me and him, we were golden. We were golden.
You paid him off, man. You bought his T-shirt or something. You bought 8x10s.
All right, main event, guys. Let's wrap up the main event. Trey, Michael Elgin in the finals or the semifinals of the title contendership tournament. I gotta say, I'm gonna start with Jaybone. Let's go this way on this one. We'll come back down. And John, you pay attention to this one. This was the finals. Now, Michael Elgin is probably the most consistent performer Impact's had since he debuted. I think not a single bad match.
Yeah.
Trey is primarily, he's a cruiserweight, an X Division star, fighting him a super heavyweight like Michael Elgin. Holy shit, Jaybone. Did we see this match coming or not? I did not see any of this match coming whatsoever.
I had a feeling it was going to be good, but we had no clue. Well, we assumed we knew what the outcome was, and that the outcome blew our minds. I'm just glad that Impact Wrestling took the time and realized we have to put that this match has to headline, and we have to give it the amount of time that it deserves, and that they did.
20 minutes at least, right? Almost 20 minutes this match. Hey, 15 minutes at most. But it was great. I think, John, give me your thoughts on this one, man. This was, the finish. Trey ended up winning this. Obviously, we had the ICU interference. Going back, a little background on this one is that's Sami Callihan. He's got this hacker gimmick going on. And,
Elgin's very impressive. Very impressive. But he's, he doesn't really need to win that match. He's going to be over. No matter who they put him with. So, and again, I think, you put him in with Tessa Blanchard. Yeah. You're going to need smaller guys for that. I'm just saying realistically in my head.
You're right.
So I think the guy is just, destined to run that division for a while. He's very talented. He's got a great look. And he's got the size and everything. And, I was very impressed, and then, you know what, you kind of saw it coming when they did that little interference. You knew something was up because he was ready, because he dominated the whole match pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's usually what happens. They'll take the guy and then there'll be some type of, stuff going on that, he steals the win one way or another. And then you put the heat on something else on his next feud coming up. So, you know what, I think that the Trey Ace match is going to be really good. So I'm looking forward to that.
They've got
because I couldn't tell you. I couldn't.
Yeah, they got history.
Tell you
too.
who's going to win. You know what I mean? Like I said, usually I'd be leaning one way, but I think it's going to be Ace Austin. I think they're going to put him. You know, and he seems to be getting the push that it seems to be the guy they're talking about.
No, definitely.
So, but I think Trey gave him a great match. You know, and
sure
considering
did.
the size and everything. And again, as Papadon said, the key is in the cell. You know, and he made Elgin look like $1 million. You know, and that's
He
what
sure
he
did. You know, he looked great.
Because you take the two guys and you have the match, and you always try to walk away. Everybody still keeps their heat, and everybody still stays strong, and that's what Trey got to win. So he's strong, and Elgin's got to win because he dominated the whole match. So
that's what I want to ask you, John. Looking at Elgin there, to the fans, they're watching at home. They say to themselves, "Oh, Elgin jobbed out. Elgin got screwed."
No.
Does Elgin get screwed here?
No, because now he moves on to another feud. He moves on to his next. Again, he got screwed. He does. Yeah, he does not see that he got. That he lost to Trey. He got screwed by these guys, so the heat goes that way. So
and actually, John, a little more background. He's been getting screwed for a couple months now. It's like he keeps saying it's always
putting people in the
No,
end.
I thought he looked really strong in the Sami Callihan match last week. I thought that was a great match.
Yeah. Every time he gets close, he gets pulled out. That's what happens.
But he looked real strong in that match. He came across really well, I thought, in that match.
But
so I don't think he's going to lose any heat one way or another, to tell you the truth. He'll just move on to bigger and better things.
Perfect old school guy. The way he builds up the match. He starts off and he's the build, and then that last 4 minutes where everything counts. He just explodes, and that's where it all ties together.
Yeah.
Alicia,
how long has he been working? Do you know?
He's been working. He started when he was 14. And he's 33 now. He said.
Wow.
So he's been going a long time.
And he's been all through Japan, man. He's very
New Japan guy,
well seasoned. Yeah,
he worked all the indies. Canadian guy. He did all the Canadian indies, U.S., Japan, Ring of Honor. Now he's an
big
Impact.
star in Japan. One of those guys that goes off to Japan and people love him out there.
Oh yeah.
Alicia, Ace, and Trey. A lot of heat. Two Ohio guys again. Your favorite place? Every time everything ties to Ohio, I go to Alicia on this. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised with the final outcome of that match. Trey moving on. No, I didn't see it coming at all. And Trey really held his own against Elgin.
He did.
It was quite impressive.
Yeah,
I didn't see it coming, man. That was the least of my expectations. They got me. Once in a while, you think, all right, well, I expect it to go this way, but maybe they're going to surprise me and go somewhere else. But going into this match, I'm like, Elgin's going to win. There's no way Trey's got it, and they got me. It's a
great callback because these two had a feud.
Sinker.
Comes back full circle.
Yeah, they've had a feud for about a year.
That's always been my problem with wrestling of the last, let's say, 15 years or so. It's so predictable. And when I was a kid, it really wasn't as, it was pretty unpredictable. When you used to watch Georgia Championship Wrestling in the early 80s, and you never knew who was going to come running out of the back. And, you never knew, but now you can see, you see the way they're setting it up, and you see it a mile away. So if you can come up with something.
I can read on the internet what's going to happen, 2 days before it does. Different world.
Yeah. Different world, man. No, it was great, man. Elgin goes nuts at the end, destroys everything in his path, starts tearing up the whole thing, threatening Sami. Sami was on Aftershock, gave a threat out to Elgin, that he's not done. There's more to it. There's more to his story. So that's a great feud. Like, John, you were saying, Elgin's going right into something else. I think he's safe. There's a great feud coming up with Sami here, and this is going to be fun, man. So, but did they say when is the title? Now, when the match is next week, right? Trey and Ace is next week. Is that we get that officially announced for next week? Everybody,
I believe so.
I got next week's lineup here. I'm not seeing it on next week's lineups. It might be 2 weeks. Oh no, it's next. Yeah, Critical Sting. Where are you at? I don't see it on next week's lineup. It might be. Oh no, they got it. I'm sorry. It is next week. Final match, number one contender tournament. So that'll be next week, guys. We'll find out who's going to go after Tessa. Works out perfectly. So, all right, man. That was it, guys. That's the May 26th, 2020 episode of Impact Wrestling, man.
Tremendous.
Great episode today. Really, really knocked out of the park. I am super happy going to the next set of tapings now.
It's been a bang-a-rama.
Absolutely. It's been a bang-a-rama. This taping has been a bang-a-rama. But, John, you've been watching for a couple of weeks, man. What do you think? You gotta keep watching. Want to see how this one pans out? Maybe next week at least.
Sure.
Stick with us, John. Stick with us.
I'm curious to see the Trey Ace match. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. Like I said, I think they're pushing Ace pretty hard here. So I got a feeling he's going over, but I could be wrong.
Very cool, man. Very cool, guys.
We got a couple questions here for
all right.
Sure Thing.
Here we go, John. Would you say when you learned comedy that you worked with your wrestling stories into your comedy, like Mick Foley? Did you ever do?
You know what? Not really, because Mick was attracting wrestling fans. I mean, my comedy pretty much. I got lucky. I fell into this Christian coffee house, so I had to watch my language and all this. So I did so much stuff on my kids when they were little. I mean, it was just like that was where most of my material came from. I didn't do too much wrestling stuff, not too much, It was just a totally different thing, But yeah, Mick brings in the stories. I actually did comedy with him one time out on Shelter Island one time with me, him, and Dan Barry. Dan Barry's another up and coming.
Dan Barry of Team Tremendous.
Detective Dan Barry, right?
Yeah. Dan. I've known Dan since he was a kid. To tell you the truth. And so Dan hosted. Because I used to work with his mom back in the water company, and that's how I got to know him. He hosted it, and I was the first comic up, and Mick was the headliner. Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Good, yeah, and I used to see Mick. I used to work security at Westbury Music Fair, which is a small venue on Long Island with about 2,800 seats, and we used to have Mick would come to a lot of the shows, a lot of the Southern rock shows and stuff. So I saw him quite a bit over there. So.
When was the last time you guys saw each other?
Mick at the Mikey Whipwreck Mike Mondo Hall of Fame introductions at NYWC a couple of years ago.
Okay,
because I had Mike Mondo had came to me at intermission of a show at a 9/11 benefit, and he wanted to break into wrestling. I introduced him into John Kurse, who was training at NYWC, and 6 months later, I walk into a locker room and he's already wrestling. So
how about that?
And then because they were inducting Whipwreck, and they brought Mick as a special surprise for inducting Whipwreck, So,
very cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very nice.
We had to hide him in his car because nobody came. Nobody, because he'd be mobbed when he walks around, But again, always very fan friendly. Always very
for sure.
But we were talking about. We talked about that Santa Claus movie he did. That's what we were talking about. Did you see that?
Everywhere he shows up, he mentions the Christmas, the Santa Claus. He's always wearing.
Well, what happened was no. He did this whole thing on Santa Claus, and when he we were just talking about it. We were talking about hey, I enjoyed the Santa Claus thing, and then he's talking about his whole philosophy of Santa Claus and everything. So it was interesting. So
nice.
We got another question for you, Sure Thing. This one, I'm offended for you, but I'll let you answer it. I'm offended for you just by reading it because.
Yeah, let me explain. Okay, all right. To get the respect as a manager, you better learn how to take bumps. You better learn how to train as a wrestler, because the guys are not going to respect you. And let me go back to that George Steele story for a minute. Right, I get a call from Bobby Lombardi. He says, "We want you to manage Johnny Valiant against George Steele." Now he has two veterans. This is 1998, the JYD Memorial at the Elks Lodge with 800 people. So I get back there, and I introduced myself, and they kind of blowing me off. They're not paying much attention to me. So I said, "You want to go over some of the stuff we're going to do?" And George Steele goes, "Don't worry about it." And I'm like, I'm freaking out because I'm used to planning everything we do, and I've only been in the business like 2 or 3 years at this point. So I'm watching one of my friends wrestle, and I come back, and they don't see me. And Steele goes to Valiant. He goes, "Throw him to me. Say, you're the manager, you fight him." And I'm like, oh, Jesus, I can do one or two things. I can run, I'm supposed to be trained, or I could say, hey, guys, just a minute, right? So we go out there, and they weren't doing anything. So Steele hits him with one punch. Valiant throws me in the ring. I run around and run out. So then they lock up again, and Steele goes to Valiant, give him to me again. And Valiant throws me back in the ring. Steele catches me, throws me into the apron, picks me up, and he goes, table in my ear. I'm like, here we go. So he walks me over to the table. I take a table bump right in front of Ox Baker. I take another couple of shots. Then we do the ending was the only thing they told me. I held George Steele and took him out. But I went in the back, and their attitude changed. Like, it was night and day. Like I said, I went from 7th grade to graduating high school in 15 minutes because I got their respect, because I was the one that took all the heat. They didn't want to work. These guys have been doing it for 40 years. They don't want to bust their chops. They're out there.
Yeah.
And then I said, to Steele, screw Mr. Steele. I said, George, you could have told me. He goes, no, I've been doing this 40 years. I never planned a damn thing. You went out and you did it. You didn't know it was coming, and you were great. And I was like, yeah, well, I kind of did know it was coming. But again, once you get that respect, though, and the word gets out that you can handle yourself, and you can, but that was a bump on the table. But I think the sickest bump I ever took, I was working with my buddy Rocky Shore and TNT, and TNT is a short guy, and he tells TNT to clothesline me. He tells me to clothesline Freddie. I ate the clothesline, and then I got a bloody nose. It was coming down in buckets. Ooh. And people are yelling, it's fake. I go, yeah, it's fake. I'm running around bleeding, hemorrhaging from the nose, and but that was like my first applause when I came back to the locker room, because I went on with the match because Rocky wanted to end the match, and Freddie's like, let's end the match. I said, bullshit, let's keep going, and I just sold the shit out of it, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, you know what I mean? And actually a crutch shot I took from Homicide in the hardcore match, that probably was the most painful bump I've ever taken. Yeah. So
all right, one final question from me, John. Yeah. Who was your favorite manager of all time? As a manager yourself.
Okay.
Who was your inspiration?
My favorite, the guy I stole the most from was Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan, because, and he had a quote I always remembered: "You manage like a wrestler and you wrestle like a manager." And I never forgot that. Yeah. And I would say number 2 to me would be Cornette. Those are my 2, But again, I took from all of them. I would say Blassie, Albano, Grand Wizard, everybody. And you take a little from everybody. And I always tell guys who want to be managers, you got to watch these old tape, watch what they did, watch, that's how you learn, But Heenan to me, because Heenan could be funny as hell, and then you wanted to kill him the next minute. And I think that's what made him so good. And some of his one-liners, especially to me, the classic Heenan is, if you watch the 92 Rumble that Flair wins, his commentary during that, you just laugh your ass off. I mean, he's got so many great one-liners in that. It's phenomenal.
There you go, man.
You know what, though, Trent? We played a lot of footage here on the show. I'm thinking, I want to keep bringing Sure Thing on. I want him to be a friend of the show. I'm going to hold it. I'm not going to give it all to you.
Yeah, don't give it all away today. We
can't. We got to save it for a rainy day. So that's the incentive to lure
Well, I know
John
you
back
want me
in.
back, but I don't know if Trent and Jaybone.
No, you're always welcome back.
Always welcome back. Them,
crazy New York guy,
No, you're welcome back anytime.
It's like they don't exist.
John, where can people find you? You online? Can people connect with you at all on Twitter?
Yeah, you know what? No, I'm my Twitter. I barely hit, but you know what? I have a Facebook page, John the Short Thing Shane, if they want to see some of the clips and stuff. And then, hey, maybe I'm John K. Shea if you want to friend me, and maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe that's scary. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But yeah, but again, I'm 58. I'm a Facebook guy. I don't, my kids are like that. They're on Instagram. What the hell? I mean, come on.
Hey, your nephew Kyle's going to set you up everything. He's going to run your whole social media.
I've been gunning for this for the last few years. I'm like, John, I'm going to be your little manager in this new world. I want to manage the manager. I want to help him out.
All right, let's get our social medias on the banner on the bottom. Jaybone, you want to put that up? So let me plug the show, guys. Remember, you can follow the show at We Talk Impact on all the social medias: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Type in We Talk Impact or Total Nonstop Impact Podcast. You can get the social media, connect with us. Also, don't forget the show is available in audio on the go anywhere podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You name it, we're on it. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, tell Homicide, tell somebody to check the show out. We are here. We got John Shane on. This is a classic episode. John,
thank you.
Thank you so much for being on, sharing the stories, man. That was
my
great.
Pleasure. It was great meeting all you guys. Thank you.
That's John Shane, everybody.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you on.
He will be coming back on soon. I'll pay him. I'll kidnap him. Whatever I have to do to make sure it gets out. My guy right here.
Guys, the NWA TNA Throwback Show number 26 is up as of yesterday. We'll be back this weekend with the Impact Plus Weeklies. Join us for that. And then every Monday night, don't forget, NWA TNA Throwback Shows will be doing number 27 next Monday. And the SATs will be joining us for that one. The Spanish Announce team. John, you're working with the SATs there in New York, guys.
Yeah, we worked with them in cyberspace, and we're Doghouse guys. Yeah, I worked with them a few times. Yeah,
nice.
Joel Maximo and the
Jose, they're coming on the show Monday. They reached out today. They heard us talking about them. They said, "Can we come on?" I said, "Absolutely, get on the show." we'll have him on here Monday, guys. So
very excited about that.
Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. This is Total Nonstop Impact. Jaybone, get rid of that video. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Follow us on our social medias. They're all on the bottom. We'll talk to you guys this weekend on the Impact Club.
John, thank you so much for being an upstanding citizen.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
You beat me to it. I was going to play that on the way out.
We're out of here, folks.
Hit the video. We're out of here.
Good night, everybody.
This is the real Impact Wrestling World Champion, Big Michael Elgin, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Nonstop Impact.
This is Kaya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Nonstop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.